Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. My God, everybody, welcome to the first episode of 4Player Podcast of 2019. The first normal episode of 4Player Podcast in 2019. How's everybody feel?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No? Come on.
Woo! Normal means not as exciting as the
I see. That was the weird thing. I didn't know how. I was like, I'm excited to have the first normal show of the year, but like saying normal doesn't sound exciting, so I didn't know how to put it. I ended up going with normal on Twitter.
We're just back to our old ways now.
Yeah, but like we haven't done this. We haven't just talked about the games we've been playing in a while. And you know what? I've kind of missed talking about the games I've been playing.
Have you been playing games?
Actually,
yes, I've been playing games.
I've been excited to hear about PAX because apparently I picked the wrong year to not go to PAX South.
Really?
That's debatable.
I don't know, but like I don't know. Like,
Why do you say that?
I don't know.
What about the time where we tried the Switch for the first time before anybody?
That was a better
That's
PAX.
true. That was
a
pretty
good PAX.
Yeah, Carlos was just texting me while he was there.
Okay,
We didn't even know if Carlos was actually there
Dude,
until,
don't fucking listen to
he came to
Carlos.
dinner.
Oh yeah.
Don't listen
So-
to this guy.
He
Anyways.
said that Ann was there. Games by Mo. Ann?
Yes, Anne was
Did you
there.
guys play it?
I
Because
walked.
he said it was fucking bad.
So I walked up to the
He's been
I walked up to the Anne booth,
Yeah.
and I was like, Anne, like Anne, like Games by Mo, Anne. Yeah, and it was. And so I started watching it, and I was like, wait, this is Anne? Like I remember playing that at PAX East in like 2012.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought that game was long out.
Yeah. Oh no, I knew it wasn't out.
No.
I thought Mo died.
Whoa,
Wait, okay,
Wait,
but
he's
how's
been
the
talking-
game?
guys! I haven't even finished introducing the show.
Oh, okay. What's
What
up,
is
guys?
this?
Welcome to the show, everybody.
what's
It's
up?
episode 587.
They're
It is
introduced.
January 22nd, 2019. My name is Nick Henderson. I'm joined by Brad Simons,
That's me.
Nolan Hedstrom,
Hello.
and the birthday boy, Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
Happy birthday, Crispy.
Hey. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
I love
somebody,
you all.
Somebody clink his glass.
Clink
because-
me!
Yeah,
Yay!
we're gonna have cupcakes during the break, but for now, we're gonna talk about video games. We have a lot to talk about tonight. A couple pieces of housekeeping. One, of course, if you're watching us live and you are not a member of our Discord, please jump in there. We'd love to have you. Discord.gg/4player. It's the best place you can go to keep in touch with us, keep in touch with the community. It's awesome. It's free. Discord.gg/4player. Also, our Game of the Year content, which we are working on. Yeah.
Totally. 100% working on it.
Definitely know exactly what we're doing.
Have definitely started.
We're gonna start rolling those top 10 videos out next week, along, hopefully, assuming I get this done this weekend, which I think I will, a pretty hefty update to the website, which should be coincide with the new Game of the Year content. Also, we have to announce our two winners for our community surveys that we've been rolling with. We have our top 10 community survey and our top 10 highlights of the year survey. If you took those surveys, you were entered in a drawing for a free game. We have two winners to announce tonight. I will be reaching out to these people via email to see what game they would like. They get a free game up to a $60 value.
I do like free games.
Tyler L.
Ooh.
We'll be reaching out to you, sir. And Rick Meister,
Ooh, both.
who I think
That
also
Rick
recently
Meister.
won just one of our random giveaways. I could be wrong, but
What
you know
the
what?
fuck?
He qualifies. He took the surveys like a
I can't
champ.
believe both my alts won.
Oh my God.
Made up people.
Congratulations to the winners. Congratulations to everybody who took the surveys. We really appreciate it. We're going to be using the results of those surveys to put together a top 10 list that's personalized to the community, as well as the top 10 highlights of the year. It should be fun. I always love those highlight videos.
You say that, Brad. I like them too. You say that, Brad, like, oh, having an alt account. I could 100% imagine Carlos creating like alt accounts to try and
Dude, our entire community could be Carlos.
I can imagine him trying to goof us, but like he's probably spent like $10,000 on alt accounts trying to goof us, and like he'll just never admit it.
I'm gonna be honest. Like we went and had dinner with a few community members at PAX. Which, first of all, thank you to the people who were there, who showed up. We had a good time meeting you guys and hanging out.
It was good.
But the entire time, like Carlos is in our Discord, like tweeting like blurry photos of stuff at PAX, and I'm like, I don't even know if he's here. Like, this can't be real. Like, how did I walk around this like relatively small show floor all day long, not run into Carlos at all, and like all of a sudden he shows up at dinner. I was like, he's here. I thought I was being memed again by Carlos. But he showed up. He was there.
Yep.
So thank you, Carlos, for coming to dinner.
I honestly
with us.
still don't.
Even
think
though
it
you
was
didn't even
Carlos.
say hi to us during the actual show. He was too busy
Oh my god.
playing video games. But anyways, we have a lot to talk about tonight, guys. We're gonna cover Ace Combat 7. We're gonna cover 2 Resident Evil games because
Ooh.
Nolan and I played all the way through Resident Evil 5.
We did.
What are you laughing at?
It's Carlos. You know what I realized about Carlos? I don't think he likes any of us. He's got like a lot of other friends that he actually likes that I don't think he does this to.
Dude,
Probably not.
I think he's married.
That's possible.
Also, I will say this: like Carlos has evolved over the years, and like his memeing style has changed. He's gone through a lot of different phases, right?
Yeah.
The one he's on right now,
definitely in the Baroque period at this point.
the one he's on right now, in which he doesn't spell anything correctly,
Yep.
is my least favorite one.
I'm pretty
he's
sure
ever
he's
done.
just drunk.
That's pretty good.
Everything he says in Discord makes no sense.
Communicating with Carlos is always a game.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I think people outside of this group think that like that's just something he does to the community, and that we actually have a regular.
And he's like putting on a face.
I have
Yeah.
a fucking loophole
No,
though.
I actually told this as one of the community guys that was with us at dinner. I was like, you think that's just what he does for the community's sake? No, we have no idea where Carlos is, what he's doing, what he's thinking.
I know
at any
one
point.
person he doesn't do it to, and I use that loophole all
Malia?
the time. Yep.
That's
Yep.
not fair.
Like
the only
him and
person
Malia are just normal friends, and he's never done that to Malia. So if I actually need to communicate with him normally, I just go through Malia.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, we should probably move on. Again, like I said, if you're one of the winners we just announced for the giveaways, I'll be reaching out to you via email to see what games you guys want. Thank you for taking the surveys. Keep your eyes peeled for our Game of the Year content, all that jazz. But now it's our first normal show. Let's let everything sink back in. Let's all shake out the
Normal
Game of the
show
Year
where
discussions.
Resident Evil 5 is our
2018 is so yesterday. Mm-hmm. We're now in 2019.
Exactly, Crispy.
Exactly.
Just letting it all go.
Exactly.
Just letting it loose.
Video games. We now it's all about the 2019 video games.
What are we starting with?
We're gonna start with. I think we usually like to start with the newest thing. So I actually think I'm gonna start with Brad, who's been playing.
Is PAX not the newest thing?
I've been playing.
Well, I guess you're right.
Yeah, maybe we should start with.
All right, let's start with PAX. Good point, Nolan.
Yeah,
There we
good point,
go.
Nolan.
Yeah, good point, Nolan. Let's talk about PAX. Nolan and myself and Ed went down, and Carlos
Yeah.
went to PAX this past weekend. We played some games. We saw some community
games.
members.
I played a lot of games.
Nolan played quite a. Nolan, you're always very good at getting around on the show floor.
Dude, this is what I do. I go around the show floor. Day one. This year it was only one day for us.
Yes.
But the first thing was we had an appointment, so I went to that appointment. But then after that, I just walked around and kind of got a lay of the lands. I'm like, what's here? What's there? What do I want to check out? And then I found all the big stuff, and I didn't play it.
I did.
And I waited. I know you did. And I waited, and I walked around, and every once in a while I'd walk past that booth with the big stuff, and I'd wait until I saw a short line. Bam, jump in, play it. I never got the longest I waited was probably for one of my favorite games, and we'll get to that. But that was the longest game I waited for.
I wonder if that's the same thing that I waited a long time for.
Let me ask you
No.
something, Nicholas. How much time did you spend waiting in line to play Resident Evil 2?
I didn't play Resident Evil 2.
You didn't?
No, I played that at E3. Why would I play that again? It's the same demo from E3. I haven't even played the one shot demo.
It's there.
I haven't played the one-shot demo. I didn't play the demo at PAX because, one, I already know I'm going to play the game, which, by the way, that's another thing. Thank you for bringing that up, Crispy. I forgot to mention that during the housekeeping. Guys, fucking Thursday night, I'm going to be playing Resident Evil 2 Remake. I'm going to be opening that ridiculous, stupid, large Collector's Edition box on the feed.
You got the big collector's
I got
box
the
edition?
big Collector's Edition.
How much did that run you?
$200.
Wow.
Oh. What comes in it?
It comes with a statue of Leon. It comes with the soundtrack, art book, an item box, a map of the police station, a bunch of DLC items, and like 2 other things that I can't remember. Anyways, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really stupid when I open that box. I'm like, why did I do this? But I'm going to do it. I'm doing it for myself.
Is Robin going to dress up like Ada Wong?
No, Robin will be asleep, I'm sure, by
I'm,
the time this happens.
I'm with 3-0. You should dress up like a cowboy for that.
What?
Do you know what's not in the box? Anything from PAX South.
You know what's funny? Somebody on Twitter today was like, I tweeted about it, and they were like, the game does come in that box, right? And for a split second, I was like, I can't believe I have to check this, but I should probably double check that. It does, in fact, come in the box.
You know the most fascinating thing I know about Robin is
oh god,
she always goes to bed on time.
Yes, she does.
What is on time, Brad?
Well, she like, from what I understand, she like religiously goes to bed like early.
Ooh,
Yeah, she does.
bringing
That's
religion
not on
into
time.
this.
Which
She
is
goes
unique.
to bed at like 7, doesn't she?
No, 9 o'clock is usually her
Is
time.
she some sort of reverse vampire?
That is unique.
Sure.
You know, it's unique.
I have a lot of coworkers that go to bed around like 9:45.
She every time I go, every day that I'm like,
okay.
I always like the next day. She's always
know.
like when I stay up late the next day, she's always like, "What time did you come to bed?" And I'm like, "I don't know, like 1, 2." And her response is usually like, "Ugh, that sounds awful." So she's that kind of person.
It's just a waste of time getting that much sleep.
Anyways,
Right.
Thursday night, 10 o'clock, I'll be streaming Resident Evil 2, and then again all day Friday during the day, I'll be playing Resident Evil 2. So be there for that. Anyways, Nolan, back to PAX South. Continue.
Projection
Yes,
is the first game we played.
That is the first game we played.
Yeah.
That's that charming little.
So it's a platformer.
Yeah, it's an indie platformer.
That's all about light.
Yeah.
So you actually control two things in the game. You control your character, but you also control this orb of light. And that orb casts shadows, and you need those shadows to navigate the world.
So you actually have to kind of like be cognizant of like how shadows are created, like in terms of like where your light source is versus where the
Well, it's like in any
environment
game.
is.
If you've ever when I was in college, I did do some like game development. I kind of messed around with that, and I did some 3D engines. One of the things you had to think about was lighting. Like, where is my light source in this kind of scene, in this 3D environment? And in this game, you have a light source, but you can move it around wherever, and so it casts real-time shadows.
And then you can jump on the shadows
Correct.
and use them as platforms to get around. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty
My
neat.
biggest complaint, a little slow. Like, it's pretty slow.
You mean in terms of like pacing or like
no,
is it
physical
chugging?
speed of the character moving around in
Oh,
the
yeah.
environment?
Like
Isn't that game Contrast something?
Contrast, no. Well, I mean, that has a lot to do with light and stuff too. But that
Yeah.
was more of like you go between being a shadow character and a normal character.
Remember when
and you
Contrast came out? But it was that like the early launch game and people were kind of hyped
No,
for it.
I really
but
liked
then
it.
people played and I was like, this is kind of iffy.
It was cool, but it
And
had
then
a
they
lot
made
of
another
bugs.
game called We Happy Few and people were like, and then Microsoft bought them. Anyways, continue, Nolan.
Speaking of, I played a Metroidvania on the show floor called Forsaken Castle. Have you heard
That
of that?
sounds
I think
cool.
I feel
Have
like
you heard
I
about
have
this?
heard of that.
Have you seen this? Heard about this?
Castles are
Um,
dope. What's up with it?
So it definitely has chasm
Forsaken.
vibes. Yeah, it is definitely
Like
a throwback to old school Metroidvanias. Obviously, it has some newer graphics similar to Chasm, but it definitely has that kind of slower feel. It's not as fast paced. You have a whip. You
whip?
do have
A whip,
you
Brad,
do have
you hear? A
throwing
whip.
crosses.
Okay,
and,
so
So it's Castlevania.
no, it definitely is. But there's some newer elements too. So the problem is the demo was kind of shorter, but I did kind of try and do as much as I could in there, and I pulled up the menu. There was a shit ton of slots for like equipable items and spells, and like it seemed like there was at least
All of these things
a
sound
conservative estimate, like 30 different like kind of icon spaces in the menu for different shit. I never got anything, so I don't know what any of it's for.
It looks P-dope.
Wait,
You know, it
do
does
you
look
have a
pretty good.
screenshot pulled up?
Not anymore.
I'll look it
So
up.
the demo was I'm fairly certain the very beginning of the game you come up to a castle, can't get in, so you have to navigate through some caverns below the castle. You do have a dash, which is interesting. You have like a run. So you have normal
Jesus
speed,
Christ,
you
the
have a-
key art on this game looks exactly like fucking like a ripoff of Castlevania.
Dude, it is definitely Castlevania.
Oh
The
my-
person standing in front of the castle in the background.
Well, yeah, look
Yeah,
at
yeah. That's like the intro to the game. Like when you're on the start menu.
Crispy. You
Oh, sorry, that's not the start
I'm
menu.
looking at it. Yeah.
But anyway, no, like the start menu is like the back of the character's like, body with the castle off in the distance.
Yeah.
It's very much Castlevania.
Dude,
like
this
they're
looks
not
crazy
they're not
Castlevania.
trying to hide what it is.
It looks
Why is my life that like the only people who like truly love Castlevania are me and every single indie developer?
That's true.
But definitely not the mainstream and definitely not Konami.
So this has some interesting stuff though. So you always have like a little slide dash that you can do. Does not hurt enemies though. So if you slide
Seems
dash
like
into
a
an
missed
enemy, hurt yourself.
opportunity. Maybe you can upgrade it.
Maybe
you
you
go through
can
them?
crouch and like crawl through certain like kind of like caverny things. I don't know why really.
Well, yeah, Metroidvania.
You can grapple ledges. So if there's a ledge, you can jump up and you'll grab onto the side and you can pull yourself up onto it. So like I said, I did get some holy water. I got throwing crosses. I got like a fireball, which similarly to the fireball from Monster Boy, you use to like ignite candles and switches that you can't reach.
I like the look. It was coming to Switch.
Yes, it
I
is.
like the look of this.
This
looks dope.
If you're an indie and you're not,
so and then it definitely is like I said, slower pace like older ones in that you can't do too many actions at once. Like if you jump when you land, you can't like immediately be like throwing out a whip. It takes a second. Clearly intentionally designed to be that way. And then I did fight a single enemy who was almost a Grim Reaper-esque, like kind of floating skeleton in a cloak.
They never had that in Castlevania.
Who would spawn glowing skulls that flew at you.
Yeah.
And I defeated him. I will say that I didn't interact with too many people, but I did interact with one, what I assume is an antagonist. She kind of showed up right before the boss fight, and she looked very smart.
I see what you're saying. See what you're going for.
Yeah. But yeah, I that's all I really know about it. It was pretty fun demo. I played it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed
it looks. The screenshots look appealing.
Yeah.
But I haven't even gotten to Time Spinner, and that one's also supposed to be.
Like I said, very Chasm-esque.
Yeah.
Is the most recent game I can compare it to. Definitely similar to Chasm, a throwback.
Hey, I liked Chasm.
Yeah,
me too.
as did I.
Nick, you got a game?
I do.
What's up?
This is a total different side of the spectrum.
Let's do
I
it.
suppose.
Wait.
Yes.
Wait. Is it Days Gone?
Yes.
It's
I
Days
want to
Gone.
hear about it.
So this is the weird thing
You want
about
to hear
PAX.
about how long
It's
he
the
waited
same
for?
fucking demo
The
they've
weird
been
thing about
showing.
PAX South is that like they always have like one or two like big AAA things, and the rest is just indie stuff.
Yeah.
And this year it was Resident Evil 2, which we've already played demos of and stuff.
Yep.
And Days Gone.
Yep.
And they had 2 demos available at Days Gone, both of which we've seen like online.
They've been
like
showing. It's
Correct.
that same fucking one.
yeah,
The
and
one
it
where
was
he's like sneaking through the river and the zombie bears.
well,
and the
no zombie bear. No,
Not that
this is the one where he's sneaking through the gas station, trying to get the piece for his motorcycle,
What's
which is the one I ended
that-
up playing. The other one was like the horde,
Buzzmo?
where
Yes.
the horde in like the
There's that little ravine or whatever.
yeah.
And,
And I wanted to play that one, but they didn't name the demos accordingly. They had like they gave them their actual mission titles from the game. And I
What was
picked
the mission
one.
title?
I picked the one that I thought sounded more intense because I figured that would be the more
What
like
sounded intense? What was it called?
do you have a death wish? So I figured that
What
was
was the
the
other one
name.
called?
Oh god, it was something. I don't
Zombie
even know.
hordes.
It did
Zombie
not
hordes.
indicate zombie hordes. I'll tell you that.
Sunday brunch.
So I ended up playing the stealth.
It was called Days Gone.
sequence, which got was fun in and of itself. It has. I'll tell you what. When that game is moving at a slower pace and you're not being chased by like hordes and hordes of zombies, it has a lot of DNA in common with The Last of Us, which I know we've talked about like this
No,
maybe
don't
being a little
say
too
that.
close. No, I mean like it's like you're picking up items and like crafting Molotovs like on the fly, and you're sneaking around while crouched around.
Probably
and, like, doing
inspiration
stealth kills
from
on
Last
things.
of Us.
It looks and feels very much like The Last of Us. And the 2 takeaways I had from this demo, aside from the fact that I'm still pretty excited. I think it has a pretty unique premise in that you're driving around the world in motorcycles, and the story seems pretty interesting and whatnot. The 2 takeaways I had were one, the fire effects. The explosions look really nice, but fire when something's just burning, looks like GoldenEye 64, like just like the red and orange and yellow. Just like I was like that needs
Just like sprites.
yeah,
just
like
kinda,
that
popping
needs a
in
lot
and
of
out.
work. That was my first thought, and there's still 3 or 4 months left to polish, or 2 or 3 months, I guess. And I'm hoping maybe that's one of the last things they're
They're
going to
probably
do.
going to be gold in like a month then.
Yeah, I hope they fix that.
Nick, don't worry. Day 1 patch.
They'll
for the
patch
fire.
it. I don't know.
Day 1 patch.
Like I said, explosions look really nice, but that looked kind of jank. 2, and this is the one thing I'm more concerned about, is I shot and attacked a lot of like zombie creatures in that demo, which was fine. But there's at the very end you come across a group of humans that are like attacking your friend, and I pull out a gun and shoot them, and it felt very flat. Like they didn't react at all. Like there was no good
Just
feedback.
like, pop, and they're like, I'm dead.
Yes, exactly.
But that's kind of how real life works to an extent.
Maybe
People don't go flying backwards in real life.
But they definitely. I don't. Hey, I don't know if you've ever been on something awful, but they definitely hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's fucking
And
weird.
this felt like, but like when you're making a game, you want things to feel impactful or nice, and like that part didn't. It's weird though, because you're shooting them. They're just different kinds of enemies, but you're shooting them with the same guns you were shooting the zombies, and the zombies felt fine. When I got to the humans, I was like, what? That was like really anticlimactic. So I'm hoping maybe they fix that too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But those are my two big takeaways.
Like, oh, okay, my bad. Sorry. And they walk away.
I really wanted to play the big horde mission, because that's kind of like the thing that's the big draw to this game, or the big difference between other zombie games, and I didn't get to try
Lots
that.
of zombies.
I only had to wait like 30 minutes to play that game.
That's
though,
not that
that's
bad.
not bad. That's the longest line I think I stayed in.
So you played the gas station mission.
Yeah.
Did you get to mess around with the motorcycle at all?
No riding around. The thing is, I think if I had played the other demo, you can get on a motorcycle and ride around.
Never
That's
got
another
to the
reason
chopper.
Because I mean, like, your character's supposed to be kind of like hubbed out of its motorcycle, right?
Yeah, and
Like,
the thing is, like, the point of
You
the
go
demo.
there to get your inventory and shit. It's
Yeah.
very like Red
Oh,
Dead.
it's like the horse from Red Dead.
Yeah.
the point of the demo
When
I
he's
played,
riding his
though-
motorcycle, he's like, "Good girl."
Yeah.
That a
the,
girl.
The truck nuts on
The
the
point
back
of the demo I played though was
motorcycle.
literally to you leave your motorcycle behind, because you're trying to sneak into the gas station because you need a part to fix your motorcycle.
And then you get thrust into a cutscene and you don't get a chance to go back and get the shotgun off your fucking motorcycle.
Do you have to hitch your motorcycle? Stay, girl. Oh.
That'd be great if you could just like have your motorcycle follow you though.
You have to brush your motorcycle.
Anyways,
my
that
God.
day's gone.
All right.
Where's all the people who were hyped for this game?
Day's gone.
They're playing Watam.
Oh, that was
Watam is the
you-
game. Another game I
that's
played.
the Ken Takahashi game.
It is. Which also they retweeted my tweet about that. But what I will say, literally my first comment on this game is, what the fuck?
WTF ... Explore.
Isn't the premise like super weird?
So yeah, so the game starts. You are the mayor. The mayor is a green cube with a bowler hat. He's very sad because he's alone.
Of course.
So you start walking around and you find a little rock. And this little rock comes to life and you become friends. You're like, hey.
I'm on board so
So
far.
let's chase each other. You chase each other. And then the cool thing is about this game, you can control every character. So you take control of the little rock and he's wandering around. You find like a boulder. And the boulder comes to life and they're like, oh, yeah, let's hang out. So the cool thing is when the mayor takes off his hat, there's a little present under his hat that explodes. And everyone goes flying everywhere, but everyone has a great time and they're laughing. And
You lost me.
so then you start exploring more, and you find like some flower people that can like throw their petals, and you find like an acorn. And so the acorn, you take him to the center of this big like cube that you're on, and he plants himself. And then everyone is sad, and so they cry, and the
Why are they
tears
sad?
they grow into a giant spring tree.
Wait, why are they sad?
I don't know.
No. Why are they
Because they're
sad?
alone.
Because yes, they're alone and they're sad, and so the tree
But
has
they're all
grown,
alone
and so
together.
that's when you learn you can climb. And so the mayor, he climbs to the top of the tree, and the acorn's on there. So he picks up the top of the acorn and puts it on his head, and that makes the tree angry. So he sucks up the mayor and poops out an apple. So the mayor's now an apple. And then, like, you fucking, like, it's like, what the fuck, the mayor's an apple? And then you slowly start getting everyone sucked up into the tree, and they turn into fruits. And then, like, a toilet shows up. And, like, you turn everyone into poops. And then you flush the poops down the toilet, and they turn into golden poops. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I literally have no idea, but like, I didn't want to leave. Like, I wanted to keep playing because I was like, what the fuck?
It reminds me of the point and click game Chuchel in Botanicula,
I don't know that
which
one.
is just like there's a lot of like weird random humor, and you're just trying to figure out what's going on and how everything works.
Yeah.
You had me.
It's a
at
game.
Golden poops.
Yeah.
It's a game without context,
Like,
kind of like.
so that, like, the funny thing is like to get the like the part of like getting the tree, like the acorn to grow, whatever, is you have to get everyone. So everyone has two hands, and you control them with circle and square. I was playing on like a PlayStation controller, and you have to get everyone to hold hands with each other, make a circle, and you start dancing around the acorn like by rotating it, and then like they're like dancing and like singing, and every time the mayor grabs his hat to tip it, everyone's like, yeah, they get like excited, and as soon as he tips it, it explodes, and they're like, yeah, and like everyone's like flying around the world from the explosion.
I have a very important question. What did the person who made this game look like?
He looks like the person who made Katamari and
Yeah.
Nobi Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why are you...
A Japanese man?
I'm just
Why are you
curious.
being weird about this?
I want to know if he's like a very like.
Oh, dude. One of the
big
characters
personality.
is a giant nose.
I mean, he can't be
Who
like a
fucking like walks around and he like. But the problem is, like
He's a Coke
since
nose.
he's just a nose, it looks like he's sucking air up his butt.
He can't
because
be.
like,
He can't just be some like normal looking dude, right?
I mean, I don't know. It's pretty.
He can't
it's,
be
it's
like
delightful,
Joe
though.
Schmo.
And why not?
I mean,
Why not Joe Schmo?
Okay,
Maybe.
Google.
Nick,
Keita Takahashi.
the lesson is that people have complex inner lives, and you never know the depth of
what are you
someone's
doing, Brad?
imagination.
Anyways, we have more games to talk about from
Yeah,
PAX South.
we do.
Normal looking Japanese
That was a
man.
pretty normal looking dude.
Can I see?
You didn't say this was all
Yep,
like
that's
in
him.
fucking
Wait, is it the guy that
3D?
made Katamari?
Yes.
Yes.
Suddenly, it makes so
That's
much
why
more
we
sense.
said it like
We
4
said
times.
it.
And Nobi Boy.
Yeah. Nobi Boy is like equally random.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I know.
all right,
but
moving
this entire
on.
time I was thinking it was someone different.
Nick and I played a game together
We did.
called
it was cool.
The Rabbit and the Owl.
Oh yeah, this game.
Who was the rabbit?
Nolan was.
I was the rabbit, Nick was the owl.
Yeah.
Makes
Because
sense.
owls are dope.
Yes. So the whole point of this game is it's a puzzle game, and one of the characters can only be in the dark, and one of the characters can only be in the light. And like the world is broken up. Like it's not like you'll die. It's just you physically can't enter the other area.
Yeah. The owl is black and the rabbit is white, and the environments are also
Poop.
the same
Yeah.
colors, but they're flipped.
Yeah,
so,
flipped.
You know, the owl can only interact
And,
from one side.
and so
you know.
the puzzle, I mean, the concept of this game is fairly simple. You just need to get to a point. Like the rabbit's trying to get to one point on the screen, the owl's trying to get to the other point, and as soon as both of them are there, you win. But it's all about
And I
trying
think we
to
did pretty
help each
good.
other get to those spots by interacting with levers, or you can like spawn these boxes in certain areas and like use them as the other character can use them as platforms. And I don't really know what else to say about it. It
It's
was
a pretty straightforward thing.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
it lever
It's
or
actually
lever?
out now.
lever. Yes, it is out now. They were trying to, it's normally a $10 game, and they were trying to get it on sale for $6.99.
Which it might be on sale
Yeah.
now.
I have plenty of games, Nick.
All right, we need to start.
Tiny Little Bastards. Let's go quick. So Nick was watching
Lightning
me play a
round.
little bit of Tiny Little Blasters.
You got okay. Hang on. You get 5 words. Tiny little blasters.
Tiny Little
Really
Bastards.
fucking-
Tiny little bastards.
really fucking annoying enemy sounds.
Oh, okay.
That is accurate.
Oh my god, 5 words.
There you go. Next game.
So you're like a Viking, and you're running around. It's definitely a Metroidvania.
Oh, I've heard about it.
Yeah, so it's a Metroidvania. You're running around. You're punching enemies. You have this little like
You're refilling your health by drinking
Yep.
grog or beer.
yeah, you
or
have like a
whatever.
grog and like a ram's horn, and that's your kind of Estus flask.
Dude, I would be all over this game if they had toned down the enemy sounds.
So I do
Like,
think there was a bug maybe
what do they
in my
sound like?
session where there was all these tiny enemies. That, but the problem was if they were in like so when you enter like an area, it spawns the entire like kind of map of the area you're in, and you could hear all of the enemies that were in the area.
making the noise.
Pretty much. I'm fairly
it
certain
never
it was.
stops.
I'm fairly certain it was a glitch. The developers definitely weren't American, and they were also occupied with another guy who was asking the most random fucking questions.
Was it an ice agent? No, I'm sorry. That was terrible.
Yeah, that was. So anyway, it was interesting.
it was more about
I liked
US
it.
politics
I liked it
than-
conceptually. There were some pretty like
topical.
the way you interact with the world. You had like a double jump, and then you could do like a slam that you could use like to bounce off of bubbles and stuff. I think it has potential. It does seem like it's fairly early development, and it's a very small team.
I
so
think they're gonna turn back those enemy sounds.
Probably.
too. That was probably a bug, but man, it was hard to overlook.
But
I
it's a
was like,
Metroidvania.
Yeah, and at one point I was just like, "This is cool and all, but I'm gonna go away."
So I was unlocking like random items. Like the guy before me had these like almost like tonfas that he was using in combat, but I didn't find those. I found these like wraps for my wrist that made my punches stronger. And it seems like kind of like random-esque loot that you can interact with in the world. I don't know.
It sounds
the problem was it was a situation where the demo wasn't a demo. It was literally just a chunk of the game. And
But
so
let me just say this: I can't. PAX, E3, whatever it is, I think there should be a universal law that says your demo has to have a time limit on it.
Yeah.
And when you hit that time limit, it fades to black and resets.
I'm fairly-
and the next
I'm-
person has
I'm-
to play, because this guy in front of us was just playing.
yeah. Dude,
until he
I'm
was
fairly
tired.
certain he was probably playing for at least like half an hour.
Good
It was a pretty ridiculous.
And there was a lot of demos like that.
Yes. Moving on. World of Horror. which is from Yzbird Games.
Yzbird?
Same people as Yick, or the producers or whatever.
Y2K.
Y2K?
Yeah. So World of Horror, it's interesting. Me and Ed played it. It's like a point-and-click adventure. I know Mr. Green Toast played it.
I'm out.
Mr. Green Toast did. It's a point-and-click adventure. It seems like you're almost playing on like a Macintosh, like the way the interface is. There is a shit ton to do though, which is kind of what overwhelmed me early on. There's lots of status screens and inventories and like kind of like documentation on things, and I was just very confused. But so you're investigating the school. There was a murder. And so there's this like tall girl who like stabs someone with a scissors or something. And so you're kind of wandering around the school. And so it's like, hey, you have to perform this ritual to banish her. And so you have some documentation. You have like
because she's dead.
Yeah, sure, maybe, I don't know. So you're like, you have this information. It's like, hey, this is how I banish her. So you're wandering around the school finding stuff. And so like I'm wandering around. Oh, and I found this pool. So I found like the school's pool. And out pops like a bloated dead teacher who I have to now have combat with. But it's like so it's like, so you have this combat wheel, and it's like, oh, so I can use like kind of action points to observe the area, to search for a weapon, to maybe like prepare for an attack and then make that attack, which makes the attack more likely to hit. I can kind of put myself in a defensive position. There is a like shit ton to do in this game.
Is it technically, is it a horror game?
Yes, it's
like
definitely
a horror RPG.
I would say horror RPG.
What is the perspective? Oh, it's just
like screen.
What is this?
It's weird. It's definitely weird. So I'm in this battle and I defeat the teacher. You have a lot of different stats. Like you have a shit ton of stats that your character has. I didn't really figure out how I could heal myself. And so anyway, like I'm exploring more and I find some candles and I enter this one room and it's like, oh, like there's like a door.
Junji Ito inspired?
I think so.
Ooh.
So there's this door, and it's like, oh, let me open the door. And you literally click on the door handle, and you start sliding the door, because it's in Japan. And you start sliding the door, and there's this giant, creepy fucking face that kind of scared the shit out of me. Worse. No, much, much worse than that. And so it's there, and the door slams shut. And all it says was, I wouldn't do that again. And it doesn't.
So you did it again.
It doesn't let me do it again. I don't know if maybe I don't know, whatever. But like,
dude, this looks fucked up. I love it.
It's very fucked up. So I explore more, and finally I find all the pieces. I found some candles and everything I needed to start the ritual. So I start the ritual, and this fucking scissor lady shows up, and she's like really fucked up. And she's like, "Am I beautiful?" And she has like scissors, and we're fucking in combat. But the problem was, all I had was a stick that I found, and I'm like trying to beat her, and she's like beating the shit out of me, and I die. So Ed had a different experience in his game. He found like some lockers and found like a baseball bat, and apparently he was able to beat the shit out of her with a baseball bat. But I never found the bat.
Bats.
Yeah,
it's such a
weird fucking game.
Compelling.
But in Yzbird Games, I did play Yick. Y2K, I know.
What are they? Is it Y2K?
It is Y2K. It is Y2K, a postmodern RPG.
We affectionately refer to it as Yick.
Yes. So I know the game's out now. The demo I played is actually a separate thing from the actual game. That's one thing they preface when you start it, is like, hey, this is like a standalone thing.
Isn't in the game.
It has nothing to do with the content of this has anything to do with the game. This kind of what you do is similar. But yeah, so you're Alex, you're a hipster. When you go into combat, you throw LPs at enemies as a weapon. You can do some mixing to attack enemies, but you interact with this one guy. Oh fuck, what was his name?
This dude's supposed to be like insufferable, though. I think that's the point. The main character.
Oh yeah. I can't remember his name. His name was like Vincent or something like that. And he's like, "Hey, I'll help you solve this like murder mystery. Let's go off on this adventure together, and we'll do it." And I'm like, "Cool." And so you pull up the menu, and you see like you see yourself, and you see the equipment you have equipped, and you have a little profile picture of yourself. And his is like a crow. That's his like picture. Like, it's like normally when you pull up, like, if you're playing Final Fantasy VII, you pull up the start menu, you see Cloud, you see Tifa, you see, whatever. And this, like, his picture was a crow. And I was like, what the fuck? And so you go into combat, and he has a samurai sword. That's his, like, special thing. Like, and all of the attacks are timing. Everything is timing. When you're doing...
like Mario RPG.
Yes, but more so. I would say it's almost closer to, like, WarioWare. And that like when you're attacking with a guy, he's like a blade. So you hold the button and a meter starts going across, and as soon as it hits, like there's like a good spot, and then the key place you want to be. And if you hit that spot, his blade does extra damage. And his other one is like a 1,000 slices or whatever, and you have to keep flicking the analog stick in the direction it tells you it does much damage.
I've seen some footage.
So it's pretty all about hitting the right spots. And so you start talking to the town folk, and you're trying to figure out what's going on with this mystery. And once again, I'm not spoiling anything because this is like its own vertical like thing. This has nothing to do with the actual game. So you find this mermaid, and she's like, "Don't! You can't take my babies!" And she has boobs, but her boobs have like faces on them, and they're like, "Meh, meh," and it's really fucking weird. And they're like screaming at you, and she's like, "You can't take my babies!" And then like they're like, "We're not going to take your."
To you.
Yeah, and then you go into combat, with this fucking like, I don't remember what it was called. It was like I don't know, like some fucking like child of the universe, and it's this baby floating in a bubble who fucking attacks you, and then this little like bobblehead.
Like 2001.
Yes, exactly, like 2001. And so you're fucking like fighting them, and it's really weird. And then you need to figure out. So there's just like fucking like club, and you go to the club, and she's like, "Oh, you're not cool enough to get in here. You need to know the password." And you start walking around, and there's this cop, and he's like, "Kids have been starting fires all over town." And so you find these kids who have fires, and blah blah blah. And so it turns out the key phrase to get into the club is like fire, my dude. And then they like let you in the club, and you go in there, and it turns out there's like a deal going down at the docks, and so you have to go to the docks, and that's where. So there's this pregnant woman.
Wait, no, we gotta.
Okay, hurry, real quick.
We gotta
10 more seconds.
Gotta keep
There's
rolling.
this pregnant lady, huge belly. She's disheveled, holding this little blue baby, and she's like, "Oh no, my baby!" But clearly that's not her baby. That's some like demon baby. And so you fight Michael, and Michael is this like 5-headed guy with these like weird arms and whips and shit. And so when you defeat him,
he's got a baby.
No, so you defeat him, and then Vincent's like, "Yes, we defeated him." And then Vincent steals the baby from the lady and runs away. And it's like, what the fuck?
This is the game that like everyone's like kind of down on, right?
Yes, it is not getting
from what I hear.
amazing reviews. It's getting mediocre.
It's supposed to be kind of weird and random, kind of inspired by like Earthbound.
Correct. Definitely Earthboundy.
We don't have a lot of time left for PAX South. Can we talk about the two like?
I want to know
Crazy.
what are some what did you play that was like, wow, I'm getting this.
I have 3 more games I want to hit on.
Are 2 of them the 2 that?
Yes.
Okay.
2 of them are definitely 2 you want to talk about.
Okay. What's the third one then?
Quickly, let's talk about Katana Zero.
Dope-ass shit.
It is Shadow of the Ninja
meets Hotline
Miami.
Mark of the Ninja.
Thank you, Mark of the Ninja. I always mess up that name.
Wait, what did you say?
Shadow of the Ninja.
yeah,
Mark of the Ninja meets Hotline Miami. It's very fast paced. I love it when you die. When you die, it rewinds time, and you start again. And it is
a side scrolling Hotline Miami where you play as a samurai who goes to these different missions. You're given a target, like, oh, go here and kill this guy. Oh, go here and protect this guy. There's actually a surprising amount of like story and like
there's a lot of dialogue too.
A lot of dialogue. You have a lot of dialogue choices.
Yeah.
You're, like in between missions, you're seeing this like therapist and like he's supposed to be giving you a prescription or like of this like
it's a medication to keep yourself sane. But the thing is, as soon as you walk into him, you can be like, give me the drugs now. And like
so you're basically trying to so you're making all these decisions when you're talking to the therapist. You're also making decisions for like dialogue when you go to do these actual missions, and they can actually affect the way the mission plays out. But the real like star of the show is for Katana Zero is just the way the game looks and sounds and
the
feels,
music's really good too
because everything is like super on point. When you attack, like he like lunges forward and pulls his like katana out of its sheath.
You can deflect bullets that are shot at you. It's almost it makes me feel a Broforce. I get some Broforce vibes from it, which makes sense to Devolver. So like if someone shoots at you, you can knock the bullets back with your sword and deflect it back into them. And then you can pick up items and throw it. It's all about being quick. You pick up this item, throw it at an enemy, hit the other enemy behind you.
That was cool. Like you run it. So you see doors, right? And you see enemies on the other side of the doors. They can't see you until the door is open. But like you can run up and you can grab. Like I grabbed a lamp. And I kicked open the door, and like when I kicked open the door, this guy that was kind of behind me heard and turned around and like started running towards me. I throw the lamp into the room that I just opened, kill that dude, and then right before the guy coming up behind me hits me, I turn around and just like cut his head off. Like and it's all super snappy.
very
And then when you
quick.
die, it rewinds the whole thing back to the beginning of the room you were in, and it all happens like simultaneously.
Oh yeah, it's really quick,
it's-
and so you really get a good idea of this is why I died, this is how I need to fix that, this is whatever, blah blah blah. And at the end of the level, you can like replay the entire level, like it'll show you like a replay of it.
It'll
And
do
so
a recap.
It's
Yeah.
like a super hug.
Yeah, and you're also
similar to
going.
Raw.
You're also sometimes like there's areas where like you're running in a long hallway, but there's like balconies with doors that are opening, so you can actually run. You're in the room, and then you can like run onto
you
the balcony.
You
and
can
suddenly
go
you're
like
moving-
to a layer behind.
yeah. You're
in
yeah.
the background, not the foreground. You're in like the background,
and you're running behind these like closed windows, so you can just see your silhouette running, but there's still
Yeah.
dudes back there, so you're attacking them, and then you're moving.
It's
forward.
pretty cool.
It's super
Katana
cool.
Zero.
Katana Zero.
Yeah, and oh man, that game is
So
doing some cool
before we
shit.
get to probably next game of the show, real
Wasn't
quick.
Days Gone.
no, Katana Zero might be my
Okay,
game of
well,
the show,
so
to be totally
then hold on.
honest.
So Dicey Dungeons, I got to get my hands on that. If y'all remember from the 2019 preview show, I was pretty
Yeah.
excited for this.
The dice rolling.
It's still really good. I did not realize it was from Terry Kavanaugh.
Oh.
So VVVVVVV
Oh,
and
yeah.
Super Hexagon. And the thing was, I didn't realize that the whole time I was talking to Terry Kavanaugh. And like I'm talking with him and I'm playing the game, and as soon as I wrap up, I'm like, hey, thanks for letting me play your game. I really like it. And, you know, do you have contact? I have like this PR person. Should I reach out to them? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, thanks. What was your name again? He's like, oh, it's Terry. I'm like, okay, cool. And I walk away and I get like 20 steps away and I'm like, Terry Kavanaugh. Fuck, like I was talking to him the whole time. But anyway, Dicey Dungeons is fucking awesome. It definitely reminds me of like Enter the Gungeon. Sorry, not Enter the Gungeon. Guild of Dungeoneering. I always get those confused. So you're on like this kind of map and you're kind of moving around like like an icon, like playing like a board game or whatever. And you go into battle. So you enter battle and your character has like a set of like actions that they can do. So you roll the dice, and those dice you assign to those actions, and then those actions happen, and then when you're done, you have no longer any moves you can make. It goes to the next one. But you have a lot of different like actions that can happen. One of them is like, oh, re-roll a dice. So you can re-roll it to get a higher number. Some of those actions are like, hey, this does X damage, and whatever die you put on there does that much. But hey, if it's an even number, it does damage. If it's an odd number, it provides a shield. So you take less damage. Or if it's a perfect 6, you do like electric damage, which stuns the enemy. So kind of a lot of stuff like that, ways to interact with it. And then as you kind of go around, you get new items, you get maybe extra dice you can do. And so when I was talking to Terry, I played 2 different characters. I played like the main kind of dice character, and I played a robot. The robot doesn't get any dice. The robot has like a number generator. And so you interact with that number generator, and it pops out a dice of that number. And you can keep going until you go over. If you overload at any point in time, you lose everything. And so you gotta, it's kind of like you're playing a gamble of, I could technically, I think there's like, it goes up to like 9. So you could get a 6, a 2, and a 1, or you can get a 1, a 1, a 1, a 1, a 1. And there's a lot of different kind of ways that those numbers can come out. But as soon as you go over, you lose everything. But if you hit a perfect 9,
This sounds like gambling.
yeah, if you hit a
Straight
perfect
up
9,
sounds like gambling.
it's like jackpot. So you get a bunch of different items. You can do a bunch of damage. You can heal yourself. You can do all this different stuff. And so when I was talking about him with him, there's going to be 6 different characters, each that have 6 different kind of story quests that they do, like kind of like different things. And each, like they're all like, so it's a lot of different shit. I'm really excited for this game.
That's cool.
That is coming out in 2019.
But it's not my favorite game that I saw on the show floor.
What
Neither
is
is-
Nolan? I want to know.
Resident Evil 2.
No. You have a guess, Brad?
Days Gone.
No. A legitimate guess?
Well, I don't know what was there.
I don't know.
It's in the overlay.
Resident Evil 5.
No.
We played Tunic.
I can't
Tunic.
say-
Tunic.
I've played Tunic.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, back when it was called like Endless Legend.
Oh, yeah,
You
we-
probably didn't play like the thing that we played, but
We're-
yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a lot more polished now than it was.
Yeah, it was pretty polished back then.
Well, yeah, I think it's always been polished.
Yeah.
This is Foxy Zelda is what
So
people
why
are
is
calling it.
Tunic
Dude,
cool?
holy shit, man. It fucking is so beautiful.
It's
Like, you go to this one section where you're in a forest, and it's like daytime, but there's like shadows being cast down from like the trees, and it just looks
everything is
fucking
polygonal.
amazing.
So like all the shrubs and trees and everything look very.
They're just they're clean shapes. It's very simple, like just polygons.
Geometrical, I think is
very
how I would
geometrical.
describe this
So
game.
I got like you start off with not much, but then you get like a sword and a shield, and you're like slashing bushes, and you're hitting enemies.
2 things stood out to me about this game that I think are really cool. Aside from the fact that I think it looks like one of the prettiest fucking games I've seen, like indie games I've seen in a long time. But like, one, it was like we got once we started to kind of get into the combat, we picked up a sword and a shield, and there was actually a lot of like skill to it, like a lot of timing, like you're locking onto enemies and like strafing around them and like dodging and using your shield accordingly, which was cool.
There were some powerful enemies,
but also
too.
that like the game doesn't expressly tell you anything. No.
So yeah, that's the thing.
All of the
There's no
instructions
words
are in
this
this
game.
like weird language.
They're like glyphs, so like
like-
weird symbols.
Like most games that would like pop up a thing, the dialogue box to tell you how to press X to do this, whatever. Like it does that, but like everything is in like this weird language. So it's kind of like, so that didn't tell me anything. And I'm wondering is if like as you play this game, do you start to learn?
You get
the
some
language?
Albed primers or
Yeah,
something?
do you start to like do those things start to be translated? I'm wondering because. Like, why even include them if it's just all going to be in
Or
some
do
language
you
cannot?
start to learn the
Or
language?
maybe you start to just naturally learn
start to
language.
see
You
the
start
code.
to recognize symbols.
you see the
and be like,
patterns.
every time I see
Fez.
that symbol, somebody stabs me.
It's little Fez-like.
Maybe.
But yeah, so I mean, combat felt good. It's definitely explorative. You kind of find like secrets and hidden areas, and you got to
It was
find
more
keys.
open than I was expecting,
It
too.
was-
'cause
it was pretty open.
We were fucking, like, backtracking to the beginning of the air stage and finding all these other areas. Like, there was all these things that were blocked off because they didn't want you exploring too much.
Oh
in
yeah,
the
they
demo.
literally had just like a construction like a blockade.
But we were, like, navigating. We got to almost to the very end of the demo with the boss, and we found something. We're like, oh, let's go back to the beginning and see if we can go around that pathway and find other stuff. And sure enough, we could.
I mean, you could,
eventually
but there
we
were these
blocked.
giant dudes with cloaks with fucking shooting guns at you.
What?
Yes,
Yes, there was
Yes!
these floating, death-looking dudes that were shooting like laser beams
Yeah,
at us. It was ridiculous.
intense. But yeah, so we were talking to the guy, and he was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, we've been showing this demo for 2 years."
The guy you mean Will Wright?
No,
it's not Will Wright.
No, his name was Harris. His name was Harris.
Ed
and-
Harris?
No, his first name was Harris.
Okay.
And so he's like, "Yeah, we've been showing this demo for 2 years. Only 2 people have beat the final boss." And I was like, "I fucking
And we
got
sat
this."
there and we were
I was
so
like,
sure.
I fucking got this.
Why is
We
the
were
final
so
boss
sure.
on the demo?
You heard 2 people in 2 years, and Nolan's like, well, those people are stupid.
The final boss of the demo.
Yes.
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 Not
Yeah, we played the whole game,
he
Brad.
fucking destroyed me. But the problem was
your hubris.
the problem was, and I think it's just for the demo purposes, is you have 2 hearts, and the enemy's attack do like 1.5 damage each attack, and he's not like a slow enemy. He's fucking quick.
Yeah.
He'll like
it-
swing, and
it
you think
kinda
oh,
tells me
there's a
this
quick
game-
pause in which I can maybe recover. No, he'll immediately swing again.
It tells me this game is probably going to be surprisingly challenging.
Probably.
So that's
Also,
nice.
as soon as the final boss defeats you, Tunic.
I will say
you don't
this,
get to try again. Like it's over.
That's pretty much all we need to say about it. But like, if you haven't seen this game in motion, this is like something you absolutely need to look up.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looks fucking amazing.
Was this your game of show?
Hopefully
For
it's more
me,
successful than
It's
Hob.
for me. It's a toss up. It's a dice roll of this and Dicey Dungeons.
For me, it's a toss up between this
They both
and
sound
Katana Zero. Katana Zero.
Katana Zero.
They all sound cool.
And what's the other game? Or is that it?
That was it.
I mean, dude, hold on. I mean, I'll say I played Dark Devotion. Meh. Boyfriend Dungeon. Tesseract.
Wait. What is Boyfriend Dungeon again?
We'll talk about it later.
Google it.
Tesseractive was okay. Bee Simulator, meh. I also played Gato Roboto, which is definitely
That's
a
another Devolver
Metroidvania.
game.
Yeah, it's a Devolver game. You're a cat. You get in a mech suit. It is definitely old school Metroid. You're literally there's doors you like orb like doors you can't interact with until you get a missile and you have to shoot them. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
But it was very slow, and I just wasn't a huge fan of it. And that's pretty much everything for the most part. I played a couple other little games.
you
but
know,
It
whatever.
was very PAX Southy.
Dude,
Oh,
did
yeah.
you play? I
Am?
was so.
No,
I'm
I said
so.
fuck that.
It's so weird. Like I was convinced after the first 2 PAX Souths that I was like, it's going to continue to grow and get bigger and bigger every year. But like, it got to a point where it's like, this is just kind of the size, and it doesn't get any bigger than this. It's been like the same size show.
I
every
legitimately
Egg
do think
sort
it's a
of thing.
catch-22 of the bigger people don't want to come because there's not much there. But since there's not much there, like bigger, like it's just it's literally they just need 1 year. Fucking give Nintendo like, hey Nintendo, we'll give you a $10,000 if you just come out here and show your shit.
Wait,
I
they
feel like
did
it's probably
come,
just
though.
more of
They
a
had the
timing
Switch.
thing.
Well, yeah,
right?
but they haven't been back. That's what I'm saying.
It's always end of January.
And so that yes, I agree with it. That is the other problem. Is PAX South is not the only trade show in the year. You have fucking Nintendo has all their other shit. And you have
Three other
E3,
PAXs
and
to
you have
convince-
PAX East, and you have
It's
PAX
just this,
West,
like,
and you
yeah.
and you
Timing-wise,
there's just
we
so much
just
shit.
got off of the Video
but, like,
Game Awards.
It was,
and everything.
you know, it's also weird to think about like Sony was even there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering they're not going to E3 and they're probably going to do their own convention before the end of the
Yeah,
year.
maybe that's why.
It's a weird thing. Anyways,
yeah, they
we need to
probably-
move on.
Yes.
Brad, Would you like to talk to us about Ace Combat 7?
Oh, briefly, because I haven't actually played like a shit ton or anything.
Was Ace Combat 7 the game with the Photoshop dog?
It's the one with the yes. What? Not a Photoshop dog, a JPEG dog.
A JPEG of a dog.
Oh my god!
Next to a person.
And they
I
do
saw
like
Joseph tweet about
dog Foley work. You know, or they have like they had, like at the very beginning of the cutscene, you see like the lady looking down, and you hear dog sounds and some barking, and then it just cuts to like the other characters moving around, but then there's just a JPEG of a dog, completely static.
What?
And then they do another shot in that cutscene, and it's a different static JPEG of a dog.
Of the same
No, it was funny because like I saw Joseph tweet about it or whatever, and it was the whole like theoretical exchange was like, wait, so you hired us to do like jet airplanes because we're really good at making jet airplanes. You want us to make a dog? And it's like, yeah. Can you make a dog? And they're like, sure. And then the next shot is just the screenshot with the static JPEG of the dog on the screen. It's hilarious. Anyways, Ace Combat 7.
Ace Combat. It's very Ace Combat-y, man. You're flying around, you're getting into dogfights, you're shooting missiles, and you're holding down the missile button, and the camera follows the missile, and it looks so fucking cool.
Okay.
That's sort of like the signature awesome sauce of Ace
You play
Combat.
this in VR, right?
So, well, no. Well,
No,
so this game has
Two
its
campaigns.
campaign.
Yeah.
And it also has like a VR series of missions. Now, when I recorded this footage, I am playing in VR.
Uh-huh. Does it
but
feel like
I'm-
you're in a jet?
But I'm not playing the main game in VR because you can't. I wish the whole game was in VR because being in VR is fucking awesome. It's sort of a very different dynamic. And I kind of understand maybe why they couldn't pull off what you typically get from an Ace Combat mission all in VR because they had to model the cockpit. And when you're in there, you're looking at like your instruments and stuff, right? You're looking down, but there's like dozens of jets that you can unlock as you play through an Ace Combat game. And
They don't want to have to render all those.
Yeah, and with the frame rates you got to hit to make VR like decent, like they probably had to do a lot less.
That was fucking cool,
for
by
these
the way.
missions. Exactly. Okay, so
Him
the
turning and seeing the explosion.
that's everything.
Yeah.
You know, when you're watching Top Gun and they're like looking around and shit, like. That's absolutely what you do when you're playing this in VR, and it's the sensation
So I
is so
will say
fucking awesome.
that I did play this at E3. Oh my god, what was that? 2 years
Yeah,
ago now?
No, I played it at
Couple
E3
years
this
ago.
year, I thought.
Whenever.
Well,
No,
I
that
played it
was
at
2
E3.
years.
That was-
That was a year and a half.
That was
ago.
2017.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was 2017.
Because that was the same year that we
Dragon
played
Ball
fucking
Fighters.
Dragon Ball
Exactly.
Fighters.
Yeah.
So I played this when I was there, and yes, I will say that was one of my favorite parts of like you're flying in your jet and there's like looking around to see like a jet like up next to you, and you're like, oh shit, that guy's on me. And you turn around and look at him, and you have to outmaneuver. Yeah, that was really.
I didn't get
fucking cool.
motion sick. But when I play like the regular missions, just like any other Ace Combat game, is you're following an arrow. You're getting these fights with like fucking MiGs, and they're flying around and shit, and you pretty much have to follow your arrow to see where they are. You can look at your radar, but it's obviously like a flat 2D radar. You got to follow this arrow that's kind of telling you where they are behind you. But when you're in VR, you're just looking up and around, and it's like you can. That's why they make cockpits clear.
Oh, is that why they do
It makes sense now.
It's just a really great sensation, but you can't do like the hold down the missile and like they have the camera follow the missile because you'd be like barfing all over the place probably. It wouldn't
Like
make
if
sense
you were
in VR.
actually in a cockpit?
Yeah.
This is so cool.
But I don't care because the sensation of feeling like you're in a cockpit and looking around as you're in these crazy dogfights is like really.
I think it's kind of a
satisfying.
shame because like if they had just committed, it's like, hey, if you play this jet or this jet, it's compatible with VR. Like if you can do the whole campaign, and just play with like two or three different.
But like
jets.
I said, there's other compromises that have to be
I know.
made to like reach the kind of tech specs they need to make VR work. So it makes sense. And they wanted this to be a very much a return to form for this series, which this game is, and it definitely feels like that.
I'm gonna be honest.
Like it's been a very long time since we had a proper Ace Combat game, and like even the last one that came out like on 360, Assault Horizon was almost like a spin-off. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't take place in like their very weird alternate history. Like Ace Combat is like super anime, which you're not gonna like. You can't really tell from just looking at footage of dogfights and stuff. Which, by the way, this is just the first VR mission, and it is pretty much just dogfighting.
How many missions
There's not
are
even
there?
any ground, air to ground like combat or anything.
How many VR missions are there?
I don't
Do you
know.
know?
I don't know. But I think
pull up,
maybe
Brad,
like
pull up.
4 or whatever. But Ace Combat missions are actually pretty long. I complete this mission and I like crash, like, and it's like congratulations, good job, whatever, go back to base, and the screen's like completely like fading black, fading black, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fucking eat shit. Like right as the screen goes black, and it's just mission failed. Restart checkpoint. And it's like so far back because Ace Combat always has like huge like gaps between like checkpoints and stuff. So I was like, God damn it.
So, this is the game I'm considering playing just because like last year I played a few games that I think were like really far outside of my comfort zone. Those ended up being some of my favorite games of the year, and this has been getting a lot of really good buzz.
Yeah,
I'm like, maybe,
because it's a return to form for Ace
maybe I
Combat.
should absolutely try Ace
Dude,
Combat.
so I really only I dabbled a little bit in Ace Combat on the PS1, but the main ones I played were the ones on PS2, and that's sort of considered to be the golden age of Ace Combat. And this kind of feels like, return to form. And part of that Ace Combat is like that crazy like anime storyline. It's like all fucking melodramatic and insane, and this is that. And I'm really enjoying that. I'm not super far into the main campaign because I just kind of got my game, but I'm really enjoying it, and it's nice to play like a good Ace Combat game. That last fucking Assault Horizon. Well, but they've actually done some weird like free to play shit since then.
And I'm sure
and some handheld ones, but that Assault Horizon one that had like the weird like dog fighting like lock on camera, it was just stupid.
I am sure we're gonna hear from Chris Davis about this.
When you're flying
course.
past planes that just blew up, like it is such a cool sensation of VR.
Do you see guys like parachuting out of them?
No, I don't think so.
They all die.
They all die.
You see their lifeless bodies hanging.
Dude,
out
remember
of the
that
plane?
Ace Combat where like you would blow up planes and it would just like throw oil on your fucking canopy?
What?
Really?
Yeah, there was one. It was like there was like debris and oil and shit would like splash on your canopy.
I think that's
How great would that be if they also mixed in
when you
some
fly through clouds? When you fly through clouds in this game and you start seeing like the water droplets and the condensation like building on your canopy, and you can fucking barely see out of it. Oh, it's fucking great. The thing is,
they don't have like windshield wipers?
That's not how planes
But
work.
when I play Ace Combat,
like how would you build that?
when I play Ace Combat like proper, I usually I'm not in first person like this. I usually play. I look at the jet because
You want to look at that cool
the
jet?
jets look cool. That you unlock so many jets in these games.
Jet airplanes.
And they look cool. They look cool, especially
Jets!
towards the end. They start to look all futuristic and weird. But I really love this sensation. It's fucking cool.
Jets.
So yeah, Ace Combat. I need to play a lot more. Also, we'll get Chris Davis on in like future weeks.
You think he'll play
kind
this?
of more fully talk about this game?
Chris Davis is
I
not
don't know,
watching the show
I'm a
tonight
little
because he
bummed
doesn't want
because
to see this
I
footage.
have a pretty decent flight stick for my PC, and
Really?
it doesn't. Well, not. I mean, actually, it's a pretty common flight stick, but it doesn't work on the PS4 version of the game.
Of course it doesn't.
And it's like, well, man, this would be great, but like the PC version doesn't support VR, and
Oh my god! Can you imagine
And I don't
playing in
even
VR with a with a
you
flight
can
stick?
if you have the right flight stick. You can if you have the right flight
That would be so dope. Anyways, yeah. So we'll probably hear about this in coming weeks.
Yeah.
As soon as, of course, once we get Chris Davis on here and he's had a chance to play it, he'll go. He'll go nuts on it.
How come when the jets are flying, they're like, they're going fast.
They
Jets
are,
generally
they are
do.
Jets
fast.
go fast,
Yeah.
but then when you blow them up, they just stop where they are. And
is
they're
true.
just an explosion.
There is
hanging
no like
stationary.
velocity and momentum.
Yeah, it's not like the explosion's still
conservation of momentum.
Right, it's not still like going along the jet's course.
I don't
like,
think
God.
that's true.
no, but in
In the
that
game.
footage, that was absolutely the
Crispy,
case.
I think before I even had a chance to pop this in,
Conspiracies.
you've ruined.
And
this
how
game
come
for
you
me.
don't see any like enemy pilot body
But
parts
like
flying?
when I zoom in with the missile in the regular campaign,
Oh, no.
you definitely see
Oh,
the
no.
explosions
Kind of trail.
Oh,
happening
no.
with the.
Don't worry, guys. It's
Yeah, you
alright.
see the plane like going forward and exploding. It's really cool.
Anyways, thank you, Brad. So we have 2 Resident Evil
Do
games.
you want a time check?
Yeah. What are we on? Okay. Let me mention the short one, and then we can come back from the break, and I can talk about the game with Nolan that we played. So, which is a little bit backwards because since we did our last regular show, I have.
But
since...
2's before 5, right?
Shut up, Nolan. You're throwing me off. So, as you know, I'm in the midst of my Resident Evil series run I've been doing in preparation for the release of Resident Evil Remake 2, which comes out this Thursday. But since we did our last regular show, Nolan and I played all the way through Resident Evil 5, which I think we'll talk about after the break. The other game that I don't have as much to say about because I've only played the first chapter is Resident Evil Revelations 2, so I can go ahead and get through this pretty quickly. Playing this right now, I started it the other night. The sad thing, so I'm actually really enjoying this game more than I thought I was going to. I actually played this game. I played the first chapter as Claire years ago when it first came out, and for some reason it didn't click with me then.
Despite me telling you to stick with it because it's good.
But you know what? Here's the thing.
No, I finished it, Nick. Maybe I'm the real Resident Evil fan, Nick.
Maybe you
didn't win that Project M, Nick.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah,
maybe you were playing Spyro back when I was playing Resident Evil.
I'm actually playing Spyro now while playing Resident Evil. You bitch.
That's true. He's got you there.
Spyro's all right.
Yeah, Spyro's all right. Anyways, the point is, so Revelations 2 is unique in a lot of different ways. It is a cooperative game, much like Resident Evil 5 was before it, and Resident Evil 6 after it. The kind of the twist here, the spin here is that you play as two different characters. Each character you kind of alternate back and forth in each chapter, or so I guess like each episode, or like because it's an episodic game. Each episode you play one chapter as Claire, one chapter as Barry Burton.
Fucking Barry.
And each one has a different co-op partner, and their stories kind of run simultaneously.
And
right?
they're functionally pretty dramatically different.
Yes, they are functionally pretty different. But the twist is your co-op partner in this game doesn't have a gun. Like they don't. They are your co-op partner, but they are not. It's not like Resident Evil 5. You're both running around with shotguns blowing zombies away, right?
Yeah.
So your other partner. So when you're playing as Claire, you're playing with Moira, character named Moira, who's Barry Burton's daughter. And she has a thing where she doesn't like guns, so she has a flashlight, and she can.
Same difference.
I know she has a flashlight and a crowbar, so she can hit things with melee combat. But her big thing is her flashlight. She can actually highlight.
She can flash enemies.
She can highlight items that you may not see in the environment that causes them to glint.
Leah loved doing that.
So,
is this game co-op?
it is co-op.
Well, I played it.
It is
in
on.
co-op.
It is couch co-op. Is the problem?
Why is there no online co-op?
I don't know. It
That's
seems like a real
fucking
bummer. I would totally
bizarre.
play this with Nolan or anybody else who wanted to play.
Yeah, because
I was thinking like the other night, I was like, maybe I should get someone in the community in here to play with me. And I was like, wait, no, it's couch co-op only.
That's insane.
Which is a real bummer. But
They ported this too. You think at least with the ports they would have figured that out?
So, couple things. One, I've played all the way through episode 1, which is kind of where I got the last time I started this game. The sad thing is, I'm not going to get back to it until after I've finished playing Resident Evil 2 Remake at this point, but I absolutely intend to. I think this game, I don't know which engine this is running on, to be totally honest, but I like the way this game looks. Like it's very artistic.
I did watch you. I was in your cast last night for a little bit. Last night. 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago. And it's very dark.
It is a very dark game. At times, there are other times when you're out in more wide open spaces and it's less dark. And I think also that a lot of that has to do with just the stream. It comes across like this didn't feel this dark when I was.
I would say in that
footage.
regard, Nick, and this is just for a general thing. I always up my gamma a little bit.
I probably should have.
I
was in a bit of a hurry tonight when I was capturing this.
Generally on my OBS the gamma's just upped a little bit.
Maybe I should do that.
Yeah, just general.
Now, I don't do it in the actual game. I do it in OBS
For the benefit of the
for the
viewers.
for the viewers. Yeah.
But
anyway, yeah.
Anyways, I like the way this game looks. It runs on an engine that's kind of unique to the series, and I like the way it looks. I like the co-op aspect of it. The fact that that's a total twist on the co-op. Mm-hmm. But the real cool thing about this, and I haven't really kind of seen how far they take this, but so when you play as when you play as Claire, so the enemies in this game when you play as Claire are not like your typical zombies. Like you're on an island that there's all these people that have been held captive and they've been experimented on and tortured. And they're just like fucking balls to the wall crazy people that have been like cut up and they're just, you'll see one of them in a second. You kill them. When you play as Barry, there's a little bit of a time gap. You're going through the same area, but like they have turned into zombies.
6 years later.
But they can't catch Barry because he's so fast, right?
Wrong Barry.
Months later.
Yeah, so when you play as Barry, it's months later. So when you're killing creatures or enemies as Claire, and then you go through as Barry, those enemies that you kill as Claire will show up as zombies, which is really, really cool. And so it's also like a difference because the enemies in Barry's playthroughs are just a different kind of enemy. Mm-hmm. So you're always getting a little bit of a difference. I don't know how far
Barry's
they take
partner
that.
just is a little girl that just points. Like
she points, but she also has the ability to see through see enemies in the environment.
That's
through walls.
weird.
Yeah, and there's one part in the game where you have to fight invisible enemies as Barry, and only the girl can see them. Ooh. So she has to tell you. Well, I played this couch co-op, and it was basically Malia was like, okay, turn a little bit to the left. It's right in front of you. And I'm like, are you sure? Because, I'm wasting ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool moment.
See, that makes
You got
me
some
want
sort of feedback when you shoot them, though, right?
Yes, and honestly, the guns in this game feel
you
really
see 'em
nice.
after they appear.
That
Okay,
I
gotcha.
couldn't hit. That was supposed to be a scripted moment, so when I fired my shotgun there, it didn't register.
Yeah.
But like the shotgun in this game, and the pistol in this game feel really fucking nice, and it's got all those like really nice elements of like Resident Evil 4 and 5. Like when you stun an enemy, you can run up and punch them.
I gotta be honest with you. This was before they did the new engine with Resident Evil 7, and I feel like shooting feels a little better back, with this engine.
Maybe. I mean, to be honest, in Resident Evil 7, you're not doing a lot of shooting.
Well,
Compared to this, this is still very
it's more action.
This is still very more maybe in the action camp from like Resident Evil 4
Kill
and
more
5.
at a pointer damn flashlight. Jesus.
And that's another thing. Since I'm playing solo, I'm having to switch back and forth between the characters. So there's obviously a little bit of panic when you're like, there's enemies in the room, and you're like, I gotta switch to the other character, but I can't defend myself. And there's skill trees, kind of. Not really skill trees, but you unlock abilities for your characters. And one of the fucking abilities is for your partner when you're playing solo to have them use their weapons.
Yeah. Wow.
If you don't have the ability, she doesn't fucking use her crowbar. Or the little girl doesn't throw her bricks. It's ridiculous. So I unlocked that very soon. But like I kind of maybe I'll try and rope Robin into playing this with me.
I will say that when I was capturing footage of RE5,
yeah,
completely different experience from
Because
when
of
you
the
and I
AI.
played together because of the AI. Yeah.
yeah. Is it would you
Like
say it's
sometimes
bad?
he would shoot weapons, and sometimes he would just stand there. Sometimes he would run up and break open a box and pick up the items, and sometimes he would just stare at the box.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of weird.
It's tricky. I mean, it's very punishing when you play with the AI, but I like that they didn't make compromises like some games where your AI partner just can't die.
Oh yeah.
Or they have infinite ammo. The trick is to give Sheva a rifle.
But we'll talk about Resident Evil 5 after the break.
Yeah.
All I want to say is
we
I've made it through the first full episode of this, and I'm really digging it. The whole game is kind of like this Saw situation where you've been like held captive on this island full of like tortured people and everything. And that's kind of a unique take for Resident Evil. It's also very self-aware. Like there's a lot of references to classic Resident Evil quotes and stuff, like the Master of Unlocking, all this stuff. So it's kind of poking fun of
Barry's
itself.
just a joke character, and they put him in a game.
I know it's weird, but it still works. I'm totally digging this game, and it feels really nice. Like shooting dudes.
This was the Resident Evil game that was somewhat inspired by The Last of Us, or they were cribbing from The Last of Us.
Did this come after The Last of Us?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nick, you know, Last of Us was like 2013.
Yeah.
Oh my god, really?
Yes.
My god.
That is an old game.
Barry is like Super Joel in this.
Wait.
And Moira's just
It's
Ellie.
been like 6 or 7 years since Last of Us?
Nick, you and I lived together when The Last of Us came out.
Oh my god.
That was a
We're
Last
old,
Gen-
Nolan. We're old.
Yeah, that didn't come out on PS4.
Yeah, that was a
PS3
game.
I keep forgetting that. Anyways, so yeah, I'm going to be playing more of this once I get through the Resident Evil 2 remake, which will probably be this weekend. So next week sometime I'll get back to playing this. And you'll see me playing it on the feed. It should be a lot of fun. I'm really, really digging it. I hope this game maintains this level of like excitement throughout, because I'll be honest, Resident Evil 4 and 5, while I love both those games, I think both of them are very front-loaded in terms of like their environments being really interesting. Like 4 and 5 both kind of lose, like they stop taking advantage of like the really cool environments that they set up about halfway through the game.
I
And
think
that kind
they
of,
just are less exciting for you.
yeah, I mean, maybe it's just it's my personal taste thing, but like the village area in Resident Evil 4, and then like the African village setting in the beginning
Nick
of
just
5.
likes villages.
I like villages, man. Like
He
like,
likes a rustic.
You know what?
aesthetic.
You know what
Nick,
also-
Nick is village
Don't
people.
lie, don't lie,
That's
Nolan.
what he
Like
is.
about halfway through Resident Evil 5, there is very little that actually tells you that like feels like you're playing a game set in Africa. There's the one area when you're.
Do you know what Africa looks? Nick, do you think Africa is all run down shanty towns?
No.
Is that what you think
No,
of Africa?
you're doing a lot of like. There's a lot of underground like labs and shit.
They have labs in
that's-
Africa.
Oh my
But-
god,
well-
you're fucking killing me.
I was gonna say
know
you're,
what
you're
I
always
fucking-
in labs in Resident Evil games.
I know.
They
but
have zombies in Africa.
the cool thing about the fact that they chose to set Resident Evil 5 in Africa was because it was such a dramatically different
Yes,
setting than
I
anything
agree.
came before it.
I do
and by
agree.
halfway through that game, I felt like I was playing any other Resident
So
Evil
for
game.
a large portion of towards the end, you were in labs and then like on the tanker and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So,
yeah,
no, I
it's-
I would
understand.
say that kind of variety is what makes those games that strong.
No, don't get me wrong. It's not like it suddenly becomes bad or something. It's just kind of like they chose this really unique setting and then just kind of kind of dropped it at some point for something more familiar, which is kind of unfortunate. Anyways, we'll talk more about Resident Evil 5. We need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll do Resident Evil 5. We'll cover, there's a shit ton of news topics that have happened since we stopped, since we were doing our 2018 award shows. And, of course, we will answer some questions from you guys on Patreon. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. You know what? I have the perfect way to start this segment. Crispy, how do you feel about the new Ghostbusters movie announcement?
Why?
I'm sorry, Brett.
This is a video game podcast.
No, I'm really excited about it. I'm always excited for a new Ghostbusters movie. Like when they were when we were talking about it and they were like, "Oh, they're going to do new Ghostbusters with the original cast," or I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And then the next day they dropped a teaser for it. That got me a little excited because that doesn't happen.
But they didn't say it's the original cast.
Well, no, but whatever. It doesn't matter. They like anytime.
Dude, the rumor right now is that it's going to star kids.
Like they've been talking about Ghostbusters
As long as they're not
sequels.
women, am I right?
They've been talking about Ghostbusters sequels since before I was born, and there's like never anything that comes out of it. And then the one time that they did actually make a sequel, it like almost destroyed the internet, and it was fucking like just a real shit show.
Yep.
You know, it was fucking terrible. The 2016 Ghostbusters movie, like I don't even like it's fine. I don't even like have a problem with it. I do kind of agree with the idea that like it kind of sucks that like we can't. I don't know. Like it does kind of seem like they're like Sony's just being like, okay, you win, internet. We'll make a different Ghostbusters.
That is true. That is true.
Like, but whatever. I don't know.
Thank you.
But
I just wanted to see how you felt about it. I'm
generally excited. I'm always excited about Ghostbuster shit. So
I would be excited if they were making even a sequel to the 2016 one. I just like Ghostbusters. I'll take more, please. Anyways, let's.
As long as all the women die, am I right?
No. That's the internet talking. All right, Nolan.
What's up, Nick?
We have one more game to talk about tonight.
We do.
Since we did our last regular show, you and I played all the way through Resident Evil 5 cooperatively.
We did.
This was your first time playing Resident Evil 5.
That is accurate.
How do you feel about Resident Evil 5? You're a big fan of 4.
Yes, 4 is definitely probably my favorite Resident Evil game.
Okay. How do you feel about 5 now?
It was pretty good. I mean, honestly, the reason it was good probably was the co-op part of it.
Yeah.
I don't think if I would have played that game solo, I would have been as high on it as I am now.
It is a fantastic co-op experience. I will say I have played the game twice all the way through now, both times with co-op partners. First with David, now with Nolan. Mm-hmm. And that game just is kind of a... It's. I'll be honest, it's like one of the smoothest co-op experiences I've ever had. As far as like getting into a game is really easy. Interacting with each other is very easy. Communicating is really... I mean, obviously, we were using Discord to communicate.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could speak to, like, using, like, the in-game systems to communicate, but, like, it was a super smooth experience kind of from start to finish. We did the main campaign followed by both the DLCs.
Correct.
Lost
We
in
literally
Nightmares and
played
Desperate Escape.
all this game has to offer.
Oh, God,
Yes.
that Wesker fight.
Yes.
Dude, that Wesker fight was fucking ridiculous.
The one in Desperate Escape? Or
Yes.
no, Lost in Nightmare, I mean?
Whichever one. The DLC Wesker fight.
Yeah.
Is stupid.
It was
stupid.
It was not great. But you know what? That DLC as a whole was really good.
Yeah, the DLC was pretty good. Except for some reason, like, mine was in black and white.
Oh, that was funny. Like, we played it for, like, an hour, and then he was like...
Literally, like, halfway through the DLC, I was like, man, it's weird that this game's in black and white. And Nick was like,
what?
What are you talking about?
He was playing with the
saturation.
filter
I accidentally
on.
turned on a filter because we had beaten the game. And so I'm messing around with all the extra stuff. I'm messing with costumes and whatever. And one of them was like,
fuck is that?
what is what?
I don't know. That
Extra
Road
costume.
Warrior.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
He's
Like-
playing... Oh, yeah, he's playing with the alternate costume.
Yeah, there's alternate costume. That is called Warrior for Chris. And Sheva is wearing her fairy tale outfit. But yeah, so after I had beaten it, and so I'm looking at all the outfits and like the little like icons you unlock. And one of them was like, oh, classic horror, and it looked like it was like a bluish tint or something. I didn't realize it was black and white. And then we started the DLC, and it was kind of like almost like a flashback. I was like, oh, you're back at the original castle. I'm like, oh, I guess it's black and white for dramatic effect. Nope, I just played literally the entire DLC
Why
in
is
black
it
and
so
white.
grainy.
Yeah.
But you know what? Overall, this game, I had forgotten. I haven't played this game since it first came out, in like 2005?
2006, maybe.
2006? I don't know.
2000,
Not too
later.
much. I was in college when this came out.
I'm going to say like 08.
Actually, you know what? That
09.
actually might not be too far from the truth, because I do think I had started going to UT when it came out, because I think I remember visiting home 2009. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Later than I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember putting this on a top 10 list, so it had to have been.
Oh yeah.
Within the range we were doing top 10 lists. Yeah, so this game's dope as fuck. Co-op plays beautifully.
Yeah. So I will say that the story didn't amaze me. It was okay.
The story was fine.
It was okay.
The story was fine until
we don't need to get there. Hold on.
Go into
but I did like you were saying. I did like the setting. I did like these kind of shanty towns, and
but you do get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no. Exploring like the docks and
Resident Evil is serious business.
Yes. All of the you do like one whole chapter that's on this kind of like marshland area where you're on a boat.
That was the
around.
last level of the game where I felt like, okay, this is like taking advantage of that really cool setting they picked.
Yeah, there was definitely like, there's a lot of tribal stuff, and then all of a sudden there are these weird fucking like I don't know how to
ruins. There's ruins, like Tomb Raider.
The tomb section was kind of interesting. So there
are giant crocodiles.
Yes,
in
there
the
are.
marshes.
This game does have a lot of really interesting set pieces that you can go to, interact with.
I love the way this game feels.
Yeah, I think it feels.
I think this is probably the best Resident Evil's ever felt. Honestly, with like the feedback you get, just like kind of how smooth it is. Mm-hmm. I think this is the one, and I love that a lot of people kind of miss the attaché case like inventory from Resident Evil 4, but I like the real time inventory because there's like a tension to it.
Oh no, definitely.
It doesn't pull you out of the game.
And I also like how two things related to the inventory I think are fantastic. One, I just love the interplay between having to communicate with your partner and swap things back and forth. Like Nolan and I were constantly communicating and swapping.
Like, I picked up some ammo for you. As soon as we meet up, I'll give it to you.
Yeah. And then the second thing I love is the when we're both like running low on health. If you stand close to each other and then spray yourself with the first aid spray, it heals both of you.
Yeah, that is really cool.
That's so fucking cool, man.
And we took advantage of that a lot.
Honestly,
probably too much, because definitely by the end of the game we were rolling and healing items.
Yeah.
Because at the end of every level, when you can just kind of like, I have a bunch of shit in my inventory, let me drop it off in this like magical box that I can interact with whenever I'm not in combat. And I did like that kind of section. Like at the end of every chapter, you have a chance to sell the artifacts you found to get some money, upgrade your weapons, either buy new stuff, so buy new weapons or buy healing items, or buy ammo, whatever have you, or just like kind of reorganize your inventory. Like, hey, I think I'm going to bring a shotgun into this next level. Do you have any extra shotgun ammo? Let's trade this.
It's cool too. Like if you die, like instead of just reloading the same area, it's like, okay, well, you have a chance now to
you have a chance to readdress how you approach a situation.
Yeah,
because it's like, hey, we died in this section. I didn't realize there were going to be so many of this type of enemy. It would probably be better if I, instead of bringing my like rifle, I brought like a machine gun, because there's definitely a bunch of smaller enemies I want to take out, or what have you. I really did like that part of the game.
One thing I will say, I think while I think this game is super strong for a Resident Evil game, and it feels as far as controlling, it feels like the best the series. I agree with you, Brad. I think it's probably one of the best feeling games in the series. But like there are certain throwbacks or moments where specifically like bosses. Mm-hmm. I think this is a series that is known for having like really cool boss fights, and there's a couple that stand out in this game. I think a lot of them are kind of front loaded, like a lot of the stuff that happens earlier in the game are really cool, but like there's a throwback to the Ganado fight in Resident Evil 4 that is just bad. It's a turret sequence where you're on the back of the Jeep and it's like, a Ganado, I remember that from Resident Evil 4, but you're stuck on the back of your Jeep and you're just shooting it and like holding down the trigger until it fucking dies. It's
dude, that whole section, that whole like chapter when you're in the back of that Jeep is really bad.
That's really
like
bad.
That fight, and then the one where it's literally just like, it's almost like if you think of Uncharted 4, the sequence when you're on the Jeeps or whatever, but it's just dudes coming at you on motorcycles and other trucks and you fucking shooting at them.
The difference though is I think the Uncharted ones were actually pretty good.
Well, yeah.
How much of the direction of this series do you think might have been influenced by the success of the films internationally, which have been like weirdly successful?
I can't even remember how many of the movies had come out at this point when this game came out.
I mean, 2009.
The one that takes place in the desert.
Yeah,
well,
the third one.
You know
at
what?
least.
You're You're probably right.
They definitely got more Hollywood with these games.
I mean, Resident Evil. Had any of the movies come out when Resident Evil 4 was out?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, definitely the first one.
That first
Yeah.
Resident Evil
For sure.
had been out
Yeah.
that
Then
was-
yeah,
To the internet.
I'm pretty sure they had a pretty dramatic impact, and that's why we're kind of starting now that the movies have like died down. Like the live action series is over, except for they're talking about rebooting it. Like you're starting to see
The first Resident Evil, 2002. Apocalypse 2004, Extinction 2007.
Gotcha.
So yes, the first three had come out before this one.
So as the live action movies started to come out more and more, like, you started to see the games become more and more action focused because that's what was doing well in the movies. I'm pretty sure. And then now that the movies are over, you're starting to see Resident Evil kind of loop back around and becoming more of a horror game again, which I love, obviously. I'll be really interested to see what happens once they're talking about rebooting the movie series again.
Hey, you know what? Maybe they'll make it good.
Maybe they will. I don't know.
I was watching a Resident Evil 2 retrospective recently, and they were talking about, Kamiya and like how he was given the task of directing Resident Evil 2 and how he hates horror and it was his goal to make Resident Evil way more Hollywood.
With Resident Evil 2?
With Resident Evil 2.
But like Resident Evil 2 feels like a horror game through and through.
Yeah, but it's definitely when things start to get like crazier.
Yeah,
I think.
sure. I mean, but not by much. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess.
So kind of getting back to Resident Evil 5, I do like, and you briefly mentioned it earlier, Nick, the interactions you had with zombies. So if you either slash them or shot them, being able to run up and do all kinds of different, depending on how you interact with them, like
it's contextual. So if you run up behind a dude like as Chris, he can just like grab him and like break their neck.
Yeah, or
yeah.
like you can do like depending on the character you were at, Sheva would do like back kicks where she'd flip him in the head, or like sideways kicks, or Chris would sometimes just do a fucking super punch on him. All those different kinds of things, and then also
in these games is really cool.
oh yeah,
I never got to punch a dude through a door,
that's true.
Oh my God.
which is fucking awesome.
Also, the ability to, when you knock them down in Resident Evil 4, it was always shoot them in the legs, run up and start slashing him. In this, there are contextual animations when they're down. That you can run up and literally stab them in a variety of different ways to like take them out, which is something I very much took advantage of. Because it's like, hey, ammo isn't exactly flowing like I don't know,
wine?
milk and honey. It's definitely a little more scarce, and so you definitely had like. And don't get me wrong, honestly, I think I was probably a little too conservative with my ammo, especially after I got the stun baton, which was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I love the shit out of that. But I would always, either go for the legs or do something and then run up and either slash them or do the stab them when they fall down.
This was also the last time Resident Evil I feel like was like visually better than anything else on the market. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I think even now,
Like
however
4
many years later, it's still a pretty good looking
No, for
game.
sure. But like 4 was that. Like
Yeah,
the first time we saw 4,
yeah.
like this is the best looking game I've ever seen. 5 was like that as well, I think. And I think since then, it some of the games have looked nice, but I kind of miss that.
Chris
of
keeps
it being
fucking
like a
walking
tech
right in front
powerhouse.
of me. This fucking ass.
I miss the tech powerhouse.
no, I agree.
Aspect of Resident Evil.
And again,
I mean, 7 looked pretty good.
Yeah, 7 looked great.
Yeah,
but
but I mean, pretty good is different
yeah,
than
I
the
know
best
what?
looking thing I've ever
you know
seen.
what? A reason why I think this game in particular is one of the best looking games, or was one of the
Of
best
the
looking games when it came out, is because of the fucking setting that they chose. And again, like what I was
Sure,
saying earlier, when they started
visuals
to
of lighting.
utilize that setting less, it started to look less memorable. I will say this though: towards the end of this game, I completely forgot, but there is a surprising throwback to like a classic Resident Evil enemy type that I completely forgot was in this game.
Yeah.
And that was really fucking cool.
I will say, what you're saying about like the first half of this game maybe being stronger than the back half or whatever, or like
Not even from a gameplay perspective, just
no,
literally
I know,
from
I know.
an
but,
atmosphere.
like, I think that can be said maybe about literally every Resident Evil game.
I didn't feel that way about 7. I didn't feel
But
that
like,
way about
what about
2.
the tanker? We talked about it. That's nowhere near as exciting as being in those that house compound, right?
The thing is, like,
I mean, it's not as cool as that compound.
sure, maybe not. But like, when
It feels random and
you don't spend a
military,
lot-
and
you
you're
don't spend-
using machine guns and.
You don't spend a ton of time in it though, and you're going through the marshes,
Nick-
and then when you circle back around and you find yourself back where you started in the compound, that was cool.
Brad, to Nick's point, there is a large section, probably the at least the third out of 4 sections of this game, kind of like not the very end, where you're fighting zombies that have guns.
I know, like Gatling guns.
Yeah, not even the Gatling. It's pretty ridiculous.
I didn't like it. I didn't like that in 4 either, and they did it again here.
Yeah,
so.
It is pretty ridiculous when all of a sudden you're like, oh shit! Like I'm not worried about zombies coming at me. I'm worried about fucking dudes shooting at me.
I agree. What I'm saying is, there's always like an escalation.
Yeah,
but you know what?
That's true.
I love Resident Evil 5. I know I talk a lot of shit, especially about the Wesker and the stealth bomber
ridiculous.
shit.
I will say that Wesker's assistant, what was her name? Boobs McGee.
She's wearing a
Jiggle Majoo.
I don't. She's wearing a.
She has like this halter top with like a shit ton of side boob. Like it's like 99% side boob from both the Excella. There you go.
That's right.
Excella. And she was excellent.
She seems a little out of place, or maybe not dressed for.
They definitely put a lot of emphasis on the physics around her. Yes, I will say in animating it. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I did all enjoy all the boss fights that we did, minus the one with the rocket launcher. That was some bullshit. The boss that we fought for 28 minutes and couldn't kill.
We fought a boss for 28 minutes and didn't win. We died, and then we booted up the game, and I pulled up my rocket launcher and killed it in 15 seconds.
Why did you even have a rocket launcher?
Because you find a secret. If you explore, there's a rocket launcher that you find.
We brought one shot.
We brought it into the fight because chat was like, "Hey, by the way, use a rocket launcher," and so we knew that it was.
That was literally the last thing we did that night. We fought a boss.
I did with Malia, and I feel like I didn't have trouble.
Dude, we fought the boss for 28 minutes and then died.
Yeah,
we ran. We
didn't die. We literally were. I was like, "Listen, Nick, we've used like 90% of our ammo. This is fucking stupid. Let's kill ourselves and try the rocket launcher."
And we did, and we beat it in 10 seconds.
Yes.
So that
pretty
happened.
ridiculous.
But that was also kind of funny.
But yeah, so I mean, I liked the tanker boss fight was interesting. The other boss fight when you're on the Gatling guns on the moving ship. Yeah. There's a lot of actually really cool boss fights in this game.
Stuff. It's really
cool. Those were some of my favorite parts about this game. Yes, the Wesker stuff was kind of bullshit. But some of those other
I heard y'all didn't have much trouble with that QTE thing.
No, we did pretty well.
Which is crazy.
So, but there was a great moment during that QTE with Wesker on the plane where I fucked up a QTE and he just wrapped his thighs around my neck and then just
no, I fucked up that one. I fucked up that one. I was supposed to take out Wesker, and I didn't. I mean, it's a cutscene, you know. It's a Resident Evil cutscene. Obviously, it's a QTE, but I messed it up, and Wesker literally jumped over me and like just snapped Nick's head.
This is like whatever, like an HD re-release. This
Correct.
Is the PS4 version. I'm wondering if they maybe tweaked that.
They might, because that Boulder QTE did it in my first try. I had no problems at all. I remember you. Who you were playing? Were you playing with School? Who was you playing with? Mortarford. Playing with Mortarford back in the day, and he couldn't do it.
No, we both couldn't do it. No, but I did it. I was playing the 360 version recently with Malia.
Yeah.
And again, we had like an insane amount of trouble,
which
is why I'm thinking they may have tweaked.
I think they probably did. I think they.
I will say, Brad, that
we were switching off. I couldn't do Sheva's or Chris's part.
I will say that this game is not punishing in the sense that if during QTEs for 99%, it's either X or square. On the odd occasions, it's both triggers. But if you press the wrong one, you don't fail. So anytime there was a QTE, I would just mash both.
Okay,
and I would get it. And that's eventually I told Nick, I'm like, hey, by the way, I've kind of noticed that I've been doing this, and it's made my life a lot easier. You might want to try it, especially during Wesker fights, because Wesker fights are a shit ton of him charging you, and you have to quickly counter. But yeah, so the ruins were really cool with those puzzles with the laser beams and the lights.
No one killed me 3 times.
I did. That's accurate. So the DLC was actually pretty cool when you were playing as Jill and Josh. That was an interesting. I liked that. That was one thing is like everyone was like, "Oh, don't play that one. That one's bad." I kind of had a decent amount. I had a decent time playing that.
It was fun. The Lost and Nightmares though.
The one in the
mansion.
Really cool.
The one in the mansion was cool. Yes. The thing was, there's literally only one enemy type in that.
Yeah.
Those
but
fucking
the introduction,
giant guys.
I like the introduction of that enemy because it happens like outside of a cutscene.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say, go look at the
that.
footage of us playing it where I turn around to look at Nick and I just see them fucking walk across in the background. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you.
Dude.
The fact that they did not introduce it and like, ooh, here's an enemy. He just fucking shows up.
Yeah.
But like, he doesn't show up like the... What were the guys in Resident Evil 4 that you had to shoot their like weak spots?
Oh, oh god.
The regenerators?
The regenerators. Not like that. Where it's like all of a sudden like, oh, he's right in front of your fucking face, and then hey, shoot them in the weak spots with this gun to fucking kill them. This was just literally just he wasn't 2 feet in front of me. He was like 40 feet away, up on the second floor, walking across his balcony.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting way to kind of like just show them off for the first time.
They need to do more of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of all we need to say about Resident Evil 5.
We
But
said a lot.
I had a ton of fun playing this with Nolan. I'm still hopefully maybe trying to slowly convince Nolan to play 6 with me.
Capcom is racist. What the fuck?
Dude, you know what?
Where's Shiva?
We've had a lot of conversations about Resident Evil in the Resident Evil Retrospective Discord channel as part of the series run. What just happened?
I think my computer monitor went to sleep.
Oh, okay. But we've had a lot of conversations about Resident Evil in the Retrospective channel and Discord, and like I keep saying, like for Resident Evil 8, bring back like a character, like just do a deep cut from the series, bring back a character that hasn't had their own game yet, and I'm like, I would bring Sheva back, make a game starring Sheva. That would be dope.
Revelations 3, right?
I would take
Two-head Barry.
Yeah, dude, Billy. Pull Billy from 0 or Sheva from 8. I don't even give a shit, Brad. Just pull a character that's like not Claire, Jill,
Pull
Chris.
Steve.
No, not Steve.
Wait, he died.
It can't be Steve.
He died horrifically.
It can't be Steve. That is the worst character
Steve
ever.
prequel.
No, shut up. Don't say shit like that. Anyways, I'm still trying to convince Nolan to maybe play 6 with me after I get through Revelations 2. Just saying.
Oh my god.
Just putting that out there.
Just don't
Please,
let him rope you into that
don't
shit.
let me be the only one.
It's not worth. That game's like 40 hours long.
Really?
Don't do
There's 4 campaigns.
Really?
And they're each like 7 to 8 hours.
Do we have to do them all?
God.
I mean, I'm going to do them all.
No.
I'm going to do it because I love this goddamn series, and I feel a lot better about the series now that we have 7 and the Resident Evil 2 remake. Anyways, we need to move on. That's all we got for impressions this week. We've been playing a lot of catch-up, but Nolan, how about this? You just like start rattling off news topics over there, and we'll just talk about them. Not for very long. We're going to move through these news topics
You got
quick.
that Randy Pitchford one? Let's talk about this a little bit.
No, let's start with Bungie.
Okay. Bungie's contract with Activision has come to a conclusion.
No, it didn't.
Are they getting out of it before the...
I think so, right? Because their contract was 10 years, and it's only been 8.
Yeah, they're fine.
Oh, how do they get out of that?
Well, if
Activision
both parties want out, they can get out.
If it's a mutual agreement?
Yeah.
I think Activision's making some decisions.
Activision has been like completely like they I'm sorry. Activision has been very unhappy with like Destiny and things like that.
But Destiny's like hugely popular, isn't it?
It is, but Destiny 2 has not been performing the way they want it to.
But
even
the thing is, I think running Destiny
because
is
it's not
expensive.
Call of Duty numbers.
Well, the what was Destiny 2 Forsaken, like the big expansion that they did last year, like they were expecting a lot more from that than what they actually got because they were trying to grow the player base, but Bungie was developing more for like the people who were already playing.
I think the cost of running Destiny is expensive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe they're not making.
So are they going to be?
Is
Bungie going to be self-publishing the future of Destiny now?
I mean,
do they have the money for that?
They might, even if they have the money, they need the infrastructure as well. They don't have like probably 1 million servers lying around.
Well, they still don't.
Destiny
I mean,
community.
they can't take Destiny away from Activision either.
No. Bungie has Destiny. That's part of the news story.
Okay, but I mean, like, there's no agreement for Activision to continue supporting.
So all I know is Bungie owns Destiny now.
Because I mean, even if Destiny is like underperforming, it is still a source of revenue for Activision.
Right, they're still trying to recoup.
I can't imagine they would just like let all of that go.
No,
as part of this agreement to leave.
There's
going to be a transitionary period. Obviously, I feel like to me this sounds like the future of Destiny is going to be without Activision, and like Destiny 1 and 2 are going to remain on maybe Activision servers, and then Destiny 3 or whatever they do next is going to be 100% through Bungie.
Yeah, well, Bungie and like fucking Microsoft buys them or something. Like I don't think we're going to see like Bungie self-publishing something as big as Destiny.
It's probably going to become a Microsoft thing, isn't it?
No, I mean I don't know, but I'm saying someone is gonna. There's probably a lot of board meetings happening right now about Destiny.
Yeah, I'm sure there are, but this is exciting too because like Bungie on their own again, if they decide to pivot direction and like work on something that's a little more focused, a little more like in their wheelhouse, so to speak. That could be amazing.
Sure. I remember when when Bungie said they were going to do something besides Halo, and they were looking outside of Microsoft to find to like, I was super thrilled. But then when we found out it was going to be Activision, I was like, ugh, how long is this? 10 years? Ugh, like, this sucks. So, like, the thought of them being kind of away from the Activision thing, like, I think Activision is like kind of one of those toxic publishers, right? Nobody
very much
like
You know what else is kind of funny about that too is like Blizzard is another like, big is another Activision company that had a reputation for being this like kind of singular entity that was absorbed by one of the big fucking publishers that has kind of been struggling with the quality versus time versus cost equation too, and they're kind of the rumors now are that like Blizzard's kind of flattening themselves out, they're acquiescing to the Activision ways.
Yeah.
I could see it happening.
Which is, kind of fucking...
But I mean, it's one of those situations, and I honestly do think that the bigger the company, the bigger the developer, it ends up happening.
Yeah.
You see like any of these large studios, they have it's fucking money. Yeah. When you have like 200 developers and some shit, it's hard to not fall prey to that. When you're smaller, either indie teams or just in general smaller teams,
AAA teams,
even like
for sure.
Even AAA developers who are still like 40 or 50 people, like those tend to not fall prey to that kind of shit. But it's when it's hard to be a company and have 200 people under you, and you're like, well, fuck, I got to deal with money, and all of a sudden these people, these people cost a lot of money. So
you want those big names to be funding your...
Kind of it's like, we were talking about
added infrastructure.
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, because I've been, reading it recently, Nick's been reading it, but they're talking about how, like, each developer costs approximately $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
So if you have 200 people, that's $200,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's not, like, pennies.
I was reading the numbers.
That's a lot of money.
When I was reading about Pillars of Eternity, they were talking about like the numbers and like how much it cost to run it, and then the amount of money they got from the Kickstarter. I was like, I had this like momentary panic where I was like, oh, God, was that enough? Like, how?
It wasn't enough. It's never enough,
dude. That's like, I mean, along those same lines, Jason Schreier's article about Blizzard and about like the development of Overwatch that he did a few months ago. That was filled with that kind of stuff, talking about like the culture of Activision and like all that and how it's changed Blizzard. That stuff's crazy. Like it's insane.
You know what?
Because they're talking about like Blizzard like never getting over the fucking like never getting over the specter of Project Titan.
Yeah.
Like,
no. Yeah.
Like yeah.
No joke.
That's interesting.
All right.
Well, what's next?
What else we got?
Hit us with another topic, Nolan.
Division.
Okay, this is a quick one. The Division 2 is the next example of is maybe the first example of a AAA project that's coming to the Epic Store and not Steam.
So I think the reason this is kind of crazy is because Steam recently changed their policy, remember,
yes, they did.
For like big publishers of like, hey, we're going to cut you a break.
Right.
If you like sell over so many copies. So to see like a big publisher answer back and say,
nah,
we still don't give a shit, and go to the Epic Store is kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
man, this Epic Store is...
Well, I think it's one of those scenarios. I don't know the cut that's happening exactly there, but I'm fairly certain publishers are probably getting a larger cut on the Epic Store.
Yeah,
and obviously the Epic Store is doing that because they want people to come to them.
Right. Yeah, they're making some big plays to shove
But to see, what we're seeing here is that it's working.
Yeah,
it's working at the moment.
It's interesting that it hasn't face planted already.
Well, yeah, no, it's one of those situations where like Epic is doing a good job. It's not like the Epic Store is new. Yeah. The Epic Store has been around for a while. Yeah. The Epic Store did not say like, oh, we're gonna create a store and we're gonna put out a giant fucking online multiplayer game as one of the first big releases on our store, and then not allow you to uninstall the game if you've downloaded the beta. And fuck you over and then delete your game download and make you re-download it and all this other shit. They released their store, which you could play games via, like, what, a year and a half ago? 2 years
Longer
ago?
than that.
It was around when Fortnite launched.
Really?
No,
not long after.
Yeah,
or like,
so it's way before.
It's at least
it was there for like Paragon. Like when they launched the Epic Store, I'm pretty sure it was when they gave out Shadow Complex. For
so
free.
that was like 2 years ago then, a little over 2 years ago, two and a half. Years ago, something like that.
Point,
so it's been around for a while. They've had time to work out kinks and stuff like that. They now feel comfortable saying like, "Hey, we can handle this. We can handle the load." They've been obviously what they've been doing with giving away free games and stuff. Hey, it's building load on their servers. It's been like testing all the waters and stuff like that. And now I think they feel like they are confident and they are ready to bring out those big AAA games and have them run on their stuff. Steam had plenty of issues back in the day when giant games would come out and things would crash and all this stuff. But Steam's also had over a decade to work out the kinks. The problem is I don't want to say they're money hungry, but I mean, they obviously have their ways and they're like, this is how it's going to be.
They've been comfortable in their ways because they haven't had much competition.
Well, exactly. And now the competition's showing up.
Epic's being very aggressive. It's weird to think that maybe in 3 or 4 years, like, we're going to be talking about downloading games and stuff, and like Epic is going to be.
Remember, we don't ever want anything bad to happen to Valve.
But
they need to be powerful and rich forever because I don't want my Steam library to ever go away.
So yes, hold on. So let me talk about that.
This is why you don't buy.
Couple of things. It's always been nice that 99% of my games have been in one place on my computer.
Yeah.
I just boot up Steam and there's all my games. Yeah. But now it's not that. I have GOG and I have Uplay and I have Epic and I have the Bethesda launcher and and fucking Rockstar's launcher. And it's like, I don't want 15 different applications on my computer that have 1 or 2 games each.
I feel like this is like...
That sucks, yeah.
What, Nick?
This is why I've always been like, I don't like digital. This is the reason. Like, you're talking about being scared Valve might be taken over, like,
That's not gonna happen.
Slam. I mean, I know it's not probably going to happen, but the fact that you even have to worry about it.
But Nick, the thing with that is, and I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, Nick, but then you've got to worry about house fires.
So that, but then Nick, how easy is it to play a game from 15 years ago for you? You know what I'm saying?
If you just don't do it.
Well, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying is what happens.
I can play everything back to PS or N64.
But you got to hook it up.
Well,
on Steam, you just.
What happens if
my shit's all hooked up?
What happens if your PS3 dies?
Yeah, old console.
How easy is it to go find another one?
This is a rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
I understand, but that's my reasoning behind it. Is because Steam has been around for so fucking long. If I ever want to play a Steam game, I literally just click a button. It's probably old, and I have good internet, so it downloads in like fucking 2 minutes, and then I'm up and playing it. The problem then becomes, what's going to happen 10 years from now, where there are 15 different launchers that have their own technical bugs and their own issues, and what happens if Epic fails? What happens if they are like, you know what, this didn't succeed, we're done.
That's why they got to be ultra aggressive, because they got to get people tempted enough to look past the like what ifs.
But that's what I'm saying. So if they do fail, like, their servers probably aren't, they're gonna not maintain their servers for me to re-download a game.
Yeah.
And like Brad was saying, don't get me wrong, I don't want Valve to be the monopoly. I don't want them to be, you have to go through them, you have no other options, blah blah blah. But I also don't want them to go out of business, because I have over 330 games in my.
But we have them because of Steam.
But
it's not like we had like. It's not like people have had like physical PC game collections for a very, very, very long time.
But wouldn't, I mean, all the game data is installed on your system, you know?
I mean,
no.
I mean, a lot of it is.
A decent amount, but I delete games.
No,
really.
but the ones
but you can't play them.
What I'm saying is, like, if you installed the games on your system and then Valve like released their protection license or whatever is on the game, you would still have it. But it's not like you're streaming.
But they would not do that. It would not be as like easy as you think it is. Because I remember when games for Windows went away, all of a sudden games just stopped working.
Yeah.
Let me just interject here, because we've gotten so far away from the Division 2 story here.
Let's move along.
We need to move on to the next.
What's the next topic?
Yeah. Hit the next thing. So Mortal Kombat 11, which was announced during the Game Awards, right?
Did you guys watch that?
I watched a good
the
portion
event.
of it.
I did. Why watch a restream of it?
It was crazy. They did a whole event just for Mortal Kombat 11.
But Mortal Kombat's a big deal. It's the best-selling fighting game. You know, it
looks pretty cool. That new character looks kind of neat.
I'm pretty excited.
Garrus.
Yeah. So there's actually they did they did a character reveal. They showed like 6 characters, I believe. There's even other characters that have been leaked or rumored. Didn't you mention Reptile might have been leaked or something?
Reptile might have been leaked, yes.
Which is cool. Reptile's historically been like my favorite ninja character in the series. So
of
course he's going to be in it. But yeah, they did this big event where they showed the gameplay off for the first time.
And it's just like a bunch of fatalities and stuff, and they're so.
Part of me is kind of like, why are you spoiling it? Like you're spoiling so much of like.
That's what gets people hyped, though.
The thing with Mortal Kombat
they
has
only
always
showed
been
like
the
6
fatalities.
characters.
That's true.
And
That's
there's
true.
a bunch.
It's so Looney Tunes now.
We don't
it's
know.
just itchy and scratchy. Like, it's ridiculous.
But you know what? It still looks fucking incredible.
It looks cool.
And
Like
I've been a big fan of like the changes. I mean,
they're bringing the inventory system, and they're like they're upgrading it from Injustice 2. That shit looks dope,
dude.
That stuff looks so cool. Like all the different like layouts you can make for different characters.
You mean the customization?
Yeah. Not only can you change like their equipment and their stats and everything, but like you can like they all have like 3 different versions of each like type of move. Or some shit.
Dude, they were
nuts.
showing they showed like 20 different versions of Scorpion that all looked dramatically different, using different weapons. Like it was nuts, and like that's the kind of shit when, in a fighting game that kind of gets me interested.
Yeah.
That's gonna make me like
it's cool.
Sink my teeth into it.
And the combat itself seems there's way more like brutal cinematic shit happening throughout the fight.
Like
way before
fatalities
you ever get to the fatality.
Like fatalities are not the only way of like getting that getting that like really visceral.
There's a lot of inspiration in terms of like the nitty gritty of the combat mechanics. It's taken a lot of inspiration from some of the stuff that Tekken 7 was doing, where like supers only happen when you get down to like very low life, but then stuff like that.
Dude, Sonya's move where she grabs them by the head and like there's that turret gun at the end and she just runs towards them with
that one's cool.
Like it's fucking like that's not even a fatality. That's nuts.
It's ridiculous.
So the other part of this news story has to do with they announced obviously the casting of Sonya Blade, which is played by Ronda Rousey. I was pretty ambivalent to it. Like I mean, it didn't matter to me one way or the other. I was like, that's fine. So there's a lot of controversy around this. Apparently,
she's a controversial.
She's controversial.
I didn't realize she was
pretty...
such a controversial kind of
She's
garbage
been like
person.
really outspoken about being like anti-trans and shit like that.
And
like...
apparently she's also like a Sandy Hook conspiracy theorist.
Which
I didn't know that.
I forgot about that.
That's so gross.
That's the grossest part.
It's like we can accept certain kinds of bigotry, but Sandy
There's
Hook
a
truther,
line.
that's ridiculous.
There's a line.
Oh my god.
So I'm a little disappointed on that front. Like at first I was just like, oh, I know Ronda Rousey. I saw her in a movie or once.
She's
pretty
really
cool.
popular now because of
like,
WWE.
Like I don't see what's wrong with this. And then I found out about some of like the grosser parts of it.
Everybody's canceled.
Part of me wonders if this controversy gets loud enough if they're gonna like backpedal. Because
no,
I don't think at this
you
point
don't understand.
they will.
They already recorded the audio.
She's really popular right now.
But dude,
done.
I mean, like, just think about what happened with the singer who did the song for Devil May
but
Cry.
that's
like
very
Ronda
different.
Rousey has been around doing the shit she's doing for a while and is still like on WWE. So
Like
she's
like the most popular wrestler right now.
Oh, I don't know that world very much. So
she's fine.
Yeah. Anyways, so Mortal Kombat 11 looks pretty cool.
I'm very excited for this.
They're still that good. You know, they were teasing it, or maybe a leak. I don't know. That maybe kind of a Shaolin Monk style modes there.
That would be so.
They didn't
amazing.
mention it, but there was like a part of the
show-
trailer that showed Kung Lao and Liu Kang like fighting together.
They didn't show
not
anything.
in gameplay, but
they didn't show anything beyond like
MMA
characters.
No, she's a wrestler now.
No. Well, she's an MMA fighter who has been in a wrestling match before,
No, she's like, isn't she just like actively wrestling now?
I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know.
Anyways,
but she started in MMA. Yes, let's just clarify.
Well,
that. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 looks really cool. I'm very much looking forward to it.
What's next?
What is next, Nolan? Here we go,
man.
Brad. This is all you, Randy.
This whole
Pitchford's
thing is so.
This thing's like crazy and complicated and weird. I think it all started. So like,
sum it up succinctly.
It's like the whole internet going.
There's no succinctly, but it starts off with like a good friend and apparently like legal counsel for Randy Pitchford and Gearbox left on bad terms, and he was being sued by Gearbox because apparently he like took out some home loans and stuff and never paid them back, on the company's dime and stuff like that. And then there was a countersuit from him, and in that countersuit or in that lawsuit from this guy, at Gearbox and at Randy Pitchford, a lot of weird stuff came out about how, hey, he was Randy Pitchford was like funneling like $15 million into like some private like enterprise, which is apparently like him and his wife throw like weird parties at his house, like peacocking parties. And one of the things
that back up. I don't know this term. What is a peacocking party?
I don't know. Look it up. But
I think it's a sex thing.
I'm looking it up.
But this lawyer also, as part of this lawsuit, and I grant it, you kind of say what you want, saying that people have been exposing themselves to minors at these parties. Also, that Randy Pitchford, so there's this thing with Medieval Times where they were at Medieval Times and he had lost a USB, and this USB stick not only had company secrets on it, but also the lawsuit says his child porn collection, underage porn collection. So this was all part of the lawsuit, but
because it's always a good idea to keep your porn and your company secret on the same USB drive too.
Like that was basically like Randy Pitchford had talked about that.
So that's the thing. Here's the thing. It's crazy. He did talk about it publicly the day after the lawsuit was filed.
Oh, is that?
He went on a podcast for Magic because I don't know if you know this. Yeah. Randy Pitchford is also a magician. The day after. This lawsuit was filed. He goes on a magician's podcast, and talks about this USB. Completely coincidentally, which happened years and years ago. He talks about this USB stick. He's like, there was porn on that USB stick. Just to clarify, wasn't underage. She was barely legal, 18. Ugh. I watch a lot of cam porn, and this was a cam girl, and she does a magic trick where she sleight of hand does the thing to make to fake female ejaculation. She's like a magician, and that's why he's talking about it completely randomly.
I thought she made something disappear.
Completely random and coincidentally on this magician's podcast, which is obviously him trying to get out there that this is not underage porn. Yes, there was porn on this USB stick. Gearbox, since in a press release, linked this podcast as some sort of official statement from Randy Pitchford, as sort of to counter what's happening with this lawsuit. This is some weird shit. Don't put porn and company secrets on the same USB stick. Don't lose it at Medieval Times. But apparently the guy who had it at Medieval Times just gave it back to Gearbox, and that they were all looking at what was on it at the office. I don't know. This is
now you know why they call him Randy.
The funny thing is, Randy Pitchford was already kind of this joke.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't really take him seriously. Gearbox has made some questionable decisions that pissed off a lot of people, surrounding Alien. He one of the things that came up is he was actively just lying in really weird ways, where he told this whole elaborate story about earning the name Gearbox in a poker match with Gabe Newell. And and he told this as part of an interview, and shortly after, Gabe Newell emailed the outlet that published the story, and was none of this happened. None of this ever happened. I didn't even know Randy Pitchford back then when he got the name Gearbox or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is some weird fucking dude. So
I'm reading definitions of peacocking.
Are we never going to get to see Borderlands 3 now?
Probably.
Well, Borderlands is big enough.
More than just...
It's still going to happen no matter what.
So the first one means dressing for attention, just like peacocks use their feathers to get a mate. Sure. Or the action of exhibited in the beginning stages of courting. Actions are typically only temporary and exist during the chase. When a man sticks 12 or more various colored paintbrushes up his ass in presentation for the female.
There it is. That's the one.
Pretty sure those are the type of parties Randy Pitchford was having.
Holy shit.
But in his case, I guess they were probably 12 or more various colored USBs.
It's a very weird story, but there could be I guess maybe significant
that escalated fast.
Issues involving taking company money and funneling it into weird things. That could be an issue. That could be an issue for Randy Pitchford. I think ultimately it's just it's just it's so Randy Pitchford, this story.
I can't even
He's kind of an idiot. You should hear what he was saying on that podcast. It's kind of gross on that Magic podcast.
Well, that,
I mean, he's
This
gonna-
is not a sex worker. This is a fucking magician. I think that's quote.
And
what he's-
she's barely legal magician.
yeah.
but
It's
barely.
cool.
All right, next
Wow.
story. All right, this is sad news. So we all knew about the closure of Visceral
Sad news.
Games.
This is angry news.
Yeah, angry news. The closure of Visceral Games. That was not too long ago. It was a few months ago, right?
Yep.
Closure of Visceral Games, which obviously led to questioning what they were working on that Star Wars game with Amy Hennig. That game was passed on to another studio at EA and it was being like the scope was being changed. They were talking about it becoming an open world game as opposed to a kind of linear story game like it was before. They have officially canceled that game completely.
Yep.
Yeah.
And God,
I'm not gonna say I didn't see it coming.
No, I saw it coming, but
Everything involving EA and the Star Wars IP, everyone was kind of excited at first because of the potential of.
I've never seen an IP this big be mishandled. Like they were handed like the crown jewel of IP.
Yep.
They could have made mountains of money if they had just managed this IP correctly. And they have produced 2 Battlefront games, both of which were kind of divisive.
I guess the whole thing at EA leadership is that the guy who negotiated the original deal
It's not there anymore, right?
like left right after, and the new leadership does not want licensed IP. They don't want to split this money with Disney because you're right. A Star Wars game would make a shit ton of money, and Disney's going to get a lot of it.
Yep.
That's why they're pivoting and they're putting all their eggs in the original IP basket, like with Anthem.
I'm kind of shocked that Disney hasn't come to EA and said, "Hey, look at what you've done for this so far. We want out."
No, but contracts were signed.
Yeah,
you know?
there's a
But
contract.
but contracts, especially when a contract is put together by like a company as big as Disney, there's usually a way out.
But
I mean, somebody's got to make Star Wars
Nick,
games.
you know what? Disney does not need Star Wars video game money.
No, it doesn't.
If it's going to take
it.
if their IP is tied up in this contract for 10 years, they can wait. They can wait till that expires and then do. They don't need to have it right now.
I know, but
I mean,
but
they shut
you-
down all their games.
The other
studios.
thing you got to think about though is that like if you were ever going to make a shit ton of money on Star Wars video games. The best time to do that would be in the midst of a fucking Star Wars movie renaissance. When,
Don't get me wrong. I completely agree with you. And I do think it sucks that, all of this shit has happened to these games. I do think there is potential there for great games, but I also do think it's the problem of when you're handed that much responsibility, you don't just shit out a game. Don't get me wrong, Battlefront, blah, blah, blah.
Well, you can't.
Yeah, I know. So they've been taking their time, but the problem is you've been reading Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. When you take time to develop a game, like just literally more and more bad shit happens.
Well, it's not even that too, but like with Star Wars, like that is a fucking giant iceberg of a franchise.
Yeah.
You can't design a character's boots without them sending it off to LucasArts.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or Lucasfilm for them to be like, yep, that's what those look like, or no, you can't have this. Like any decision that you make creatively, Star Wars, like Lucasfilms has to check off on, and
It's a high maintenance IP.
that probably balloons their development time
100%.
like crazy.
Yeah,
Like
that is true.
That's
It's
insane.
unfortunate. The sad thing is that like at this point, there's only one game that we know of in development and that's the Respawn game, and it kind of makes me worried about like, are we ever going to see anything more than a title about that from that game? Like at this point, I kind of feel like maybe EA and Disney are kind of coming close to like parting ways on this whole thing. And if that happens before Respawn finishes their game, does Respawn finish their game?
Well, listen, it's supposed to be coming out this year. Is it going to be another fucking shooter? That's what Respawn makes.
Dude, I don't even know. I have a hard time getting excited for a Respawn Star Wars game because
You know what?
Titanfall.
If this game comes out and in the game are the words lightsaber on, I'll buy it.
You know, it'd be super dope if they said if they announced that it was Dark Forces 3. That'd be sick, right?
And you could like kill younglings.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Don't kill the young.
The return of Kyle Katarn.
all right, let's next news topic.
You know.
Okay, so this
Jedi
is an interesting one. An indie gamer chick has announced that she's going to be publishing, or she's working with a publisher. What is it? Ratalaika Games? I've never heard of it. It's an indie game publisher. To release an Xbox Live indie games collection.
This is okay. So let's be clear here. This is not Xbox Live Arcade. This is Xbox Live indie games. This is XBlig.
Yep.
This is like, years and years, countless hours of me streaming like weird ass games.
Not
all of them were shitty.
I said I understand. A lot of them were shit.
Miner Dig Deep could be on this collection.
If Miner Dig Deep is in this collection, I will buy it day one.
And the crazy thing is, it's coming out for not just Xbox, but also PlayStation and Switch, supposedly.
Isn't it supposed to have like 15 games on it?
Well, there's no official lineup yet, but they're aiming for like 15 to 20 games, which is really cool. There's some cool stuff on there, like
there were some good indie games.
Like the dude what made Cosmic Star Heroine, he got his start, making RPGs for Xbox Live indie games, with like Breath of Death 7. It'd be cool. Like there's some cool stuff in there, and that's
what was that?
The game where you get
the mech. Start with a G.
Game of the year. Fuck.
Dude. We get you launch
Gulin.
Yeah.
Gulin is not going to make it.
Gulin's not going to make it onto that.
No,
the Gulin was
probably not the
way too simple of a game.
How about that?
The thing is, XBlig was popular at a very weird time, like right after Minecraft blew up. So like half the games on Xbox Live Arcade were just weird Minecraft clones that like made random people rich.
Yeah.
All right. How about this? We return to this topic when we actually have a list.
That's fine.
So,
but it's exciting. I mean, because all that stuff just went away.
Oh yeah, that sucked when they were like, "Hey, we're turning it off." And it's like, "Wait, what?"
The Scapegoat was an Xbox Live indie game, the first one. Yeah,
you can buy a Scapegoat 2 through limited run games. I believe.
Scapegoat is a great game.
Yeah, that's cool. I like.
All right, are there any other news topics?
That's it.
All right, that's it for news. It's been a while, but let's go ahead and get to. We have some questions from our illustrious supporters on Patreon this week. Nolan, do you have the list of new patrons ready to go, or should I pull that up?
They came from.
Can you pull it up?
All right, we can. Do you have the questions ready to go?
In a second. Everything's broken.
Oh no.
Hold on, I need to. Can you pull up? Those
I will
new
say
patrons?
this: I don't think the overlay is particularly important. If that's what we're worried about. Wait, what are you asking me?
Yeah, pull up the patrons.
Okay. Let's see here. New patrons. Where are you? Okay, we've had a few since, God, when was our last show? I'm going back all the way through late December. We have a Brandon T, thank you very much. Michael M, I'm trying not to read people's last names when inappropriate. Michael M, thank you very much. Snacknology? Snacknology is a new patron, thank you very much, Snacknology. JPress 311 JPress 311. Thank you very much.
Rock.
MD, medical doctor. MD.
Nice.
Thank you very much, MD. And Nathan C are all new patrons. That's between the end of December and the last one being the 17th of January. So if I miss anybody, I do apologize. But of course, we want to say thank you very much for supporting us on Patreon. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. It gets you the ability to ask us questions, which we're going to read a set of questions that were asked for this week's show here in just a moment on every episode. And also, we're kind of working towards, we're trying to save up some money so we can get some headphones that will hopefully help us kind of keep the audio under control during these podcasts where we don't have a way of really listening to ourselves while we're recording it. So we're trying to get to $800 to get that before we make that purchase. So if you want to help us out, throw us $1 or $2 a month, and that'll help us get to that goal. So you can find everything you need to know about that campaign at patreon.com/4Player. Nolan, are you ready with the first question? No?
No, like the patron signed me out.
All right, I got this.
So it sent you an email with a code so I can.
There's no time, Nolan. I have this.
All right.
I have this. Our first question is from Matt F. All right.
Actually, Matt.
Well, I think he typically goes by Farrakin.
Fine.
Oh.
Farrakin.
Yeah.
All right. He says, I hope this is the right show questions I have. Okay. I recently went through my PS4 library of downloaded games to reminisce on what I had played in the past when I realized that I had bought God Eater Resurrection 2 years ago and never actually played it. While I've now downloaded it to finally get my money's worth, I can't help but wonder why I never did so in the first place back then, and how I forgot about it later. My question is, What game or games have you never played or played very little of when you bought it, only to return to it much later in life and enjoy it? I know you probably have a lot of examples due to the busy nature of the podcast job and your lives, so you can pick the one that stood out the most.
Yeah.
First one that popped in my head is one that I'm playing right now that I bought the first 2 episodes for, Resident Evil Revelations 2. Back when that game first came out, played the first episode. For whatever reason, it didn't hook me then, but I'm fucking loving it now.
God, so many.
My most high profile one is Dark Souls.
I was gonna say that. Dark Souls is probably the biggest one on my list. That Brad obviously was a big proponent when it came out, and I picked it up and I started playing it, and I wasn't gelling with it. And I think one of the big problems was I was not in a state of I wasn't Scrooge McDuck. Let me put it that way. I wasn't diving into piles of money. And so I had one PS3 controller, and the R2 was really loose. So even if you tapped it, it would go off. And so many times I accidentally and I think I ended up just I had to put the game down because it's like, dude, I can't fucking play this. I attacked many friendly NPCs on accident, and they would just start fucking attack. And
you can't do that in that game, Nolan.
Yeah, and so I ended up putting the game down. I think that's one of probably my biggest, like Chrissy said, high-profile ones.
I was afraid of it.
Oh, no, I was definitely afraid.
Dude, I have so many games.
This happens to me all the time. Even like just last year, Dying Light is one that I owned for a long time before I finally got around to playing it. And even stuff like when we do like 1998 month, a lot of the games that a lot of those games that I play, I've had for fucking 2 decades.
Oh yeah,
but I'm just now getting around to playing them because
the original, like Fallout 2. Those are ones like that. I got those fucking years ago, and like it's just like one of those things.
Steam does that for
it's often a
sure.
thing where it's like I see a game on Steam that's like $2-3, and I'm like, I know I've heard that's a good game, and so I get it, and then I just kind of stare at it, and it's in my inventory, and I look at it, and I'm like, one of these days I'll get around to you.
I think I've bought Kingdom Hearts like 3 times.
Oh yeah.
And I'm hopefully this time.
Wait, you've
will
never
stick.
played through Kingdom Hearts?
Well, maybe Kingdom Hearts 2 is a better example. I started Kingdom Hearts 2, never played much of it.
But you played 1.
I played a good portion of 1.
Uh-oh.
Oh wow.
But yeah. Those are the
You're
first
gonna
ones
picking
that
up
come.
Kingdom Hearts 3 though?
Maybe
Of course
not at
it's-
launch. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
No. I'm proud of you if you don't.
Oh, well, then I won't pick it up. All right. Next question. Thank you for the question, Farakin. From JPress311, one of our new patrons, says, I was wondering about music in games in comparison to movies, and I'm wondering why games are licensed differently. Using Alan Wake as an example, it was removed from stores for a time due to licensing issues on music. I've never heard of a movie being removed from store shelves because of a song in the credits. So are they licensed differently, and if so, why? Also in GTA 4, they patched out some music. Does this happen in movies, and we're just not aware?
I think that's a different story.
I think it's very different because just the nature of games is in that because of the way games are developed and the way that like they're literally in development for years, even years past the point in which they're released. It's in games. It is you can license things temporarily and pass them out if necessary. Movies, once you have a final product for a movie, that's kind of it.
They definitely produce a movie with the idea of home release in mind after a certain point. You know, after home release became a thing in the 80s.
Yeah.
Where you do see this? Television.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. There are a lot of shows that don't get home releases because they couldn't figure out licensing with the music. One of my favorite examples, like I remember I was in college, so this is like 2008 or 2009 when they finally released The State, which was a sketch comedy show on MTV from like the early 90s, and the only reason they did was because they just ripped out all the music and replaced it with like generic free or royalty free, or like they licensed new music or something like it. But they spent 20 years trying to release that show and they couldn't get over the license issue.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm also not going to say that I'm an expert on the matter. Obviously, I don't have inner knowledge of like how these things work, but like there's just something, movies are just kind of final, right?
Yeah.
I mean, technically speaking, they do things with like Blu-rays now, like Blu-ray Live.
If you look at like,
stuff, but like
if
you're
you
not gonna...
look at re-releases of movies, sometimes the music does change in them.
Yeah, but that'd be if they released a different.
I'm saying like
not
a
that
cut
this doesn't
later
happen.
on.
I mean, it's not that it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of times whenever there's an issue, they just stop printing the movie, and then you just like don't.
And honestly,
Like,
I think it happens. It doesn't happen it doesn't happen super often in games.
Yeah.
Either. I don't think it happens any more in games.
All the
than
original, the Comedy Channel and Sci-Fi Channel run of Mystery Science Theater 3000 went through the same thing, where like they had sold the license to a home release group called like Rhino or something like that, and they didn't own it for a long time. I mean, it happens.
Chai says Malcolm in the Middle is supposedly held up because of music.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was just Frankie Muniz.
And that's probably
about the show.
That's probably why you see a lot more original music in games than you do licensed music.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
What is it?
I don't know. Frankie Muniz had like his car accident or whatever. He was like driving like a NASCAR or some shit.
I heard about that.
And then
I didn't know if that was real.
Apparently, he
just doesn't remember.
He doesn't remember any of Malcolm in the Middle. Apparently.
What?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't remember a lot of his early life
because of an accident.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god.
Look it up. Like
I thought that was just like
I thought it was
myth.
too, but then I read like an article about it, and apparently it's like legit that like he has like some memory issues and brain issues.
Hey, real quick,
damn it.
Did y'all hear the story? There was a fucking like a pro gamer, like he does like F1 sims, racing games, and he's like a pro.
Yes.
He beat like a champion on like a former like champion on a real track, like an F1 track, and he won
in real life or in a video game.
Like
no, in real life,
like behind the wheel of an actual car.
Yeah.
What
was the F1 champ like asleep or like maybe a little tipsy?
Well, I don't
it's
know the details.
He knew all the fucking turns.
I don't even know if it was F1. It might have been like, there's a lot of
go-karts or something.
No. It was a real like a former champion or some shit.
That's nuts. Yeah. Also, that Frankie Muniz thing is sad.
Yeah.
Our next question comes from Brandon T. I think another one of our. Is he one of the new ones? I don't remember. Anyways, the podcast seems to place a lot of attention on the Nintendo Switch. What's the bigger appeal, the content or the fact that it is mobile? Well, honestly,
I will say that's a recent.
We've talked about it a lot.
I mean, we've talked about it a lot in the sense that like it was revealed, I think, this week that it was the best selling console of 2018. So obviously you're probably going to hear about it a lot on most shows. Its library has been growing tremendously. I don't know.
I think it's the other situation that
high profile releases.
A lot of us have Switches, all of us now.
Yeah.
B, lately there have been some high profile releases, and C, because there have been those releases and we have one, we want to buy those games because it's one of those situations when you buy a console and then they don't put any games out on it, you're like, yeah, whatever. But all of a sudden when you buy a console and they put out a few pretty good games, you're like, well, I'm going to buy that game because I want to get use out of my console. And yes, I do think that the Switch's ability to play it on the go is one of the best things about it, and I definitely take advantage of that. Literally last night I was playing in bed Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom, and I have my little movable arm mount, and so I have it like mounted above me when I'm laying down in bed because it's very comfortable to do that. But also I had it tilted because Bernadette was like watching me play the game, and so it's fun to be able to do that and not like. Do you often play the games on the TV in bed? That's really awkward.
I don't think I could do that.
To like delay, but you have to kind of prop up, and like it's very awkward to do. And like I know it's kind of like. I don't say first world problem, and it's kind of silly to like, but hey, I mean, that's very convenient for me.
I mean, I've said it before. I think while I do play way more games on my PS4, I do think the nature of the Switch in that it's a dockable mobile console is like absolutely the like most appealing thing about that console. In fact, I would say it's like kind of maybe the future of like all console gaming in the like going forward. Like the fact that you can play it while you're pooping is amazing. Yeah, the fact that you can play a full blown like huge, beautiful, amazing 3D Mario or 3D Zelda game while you're pooping is amazing.
Relative, though.
I was debating picking up Valkyria Chronicles 4 on the Switch instead of on my computer. Just because
for the mobile nature of it. Yeah, I mean,
but like the tech's all relative. I mean, the Switch games look amazing, but like if Sony, this year released another Vita, those games would also
look
fucking amazing.
I know, but what I'm saying is that like I wouldn't be surprised at all if like in like the next major generation of consoles, like all three of the competing consoles have some kind of dockable component to them. You know what I mean?
Sure, but the reason Nintendo made it work is because they're willing to make like those tech restrictions to make that happen.
Sure.
I don't think a Sony or Microsoft is.
Probably not. But you know what I wouldn't be surprised by, Brad? What does everyone have in the world? Not everyone,
Computer?
but no.
I don't know what you're getting at.
Phone.
Feet?
No. What I think we're going to see next
hands
is streaming.
From your console to your phone?
Of your console to your phone. It's easy to get. All phones nowadays have Bluetooth.
But you can do that already with PlayStation, I think.
It's not, like, great. I don't think you can do that with PlayStation. I think you can do that with, like, Sony phones.
I mean...
What, like stream a game to your phone?
I think that's different. I think what we're going to see is I'm going to boot up, almost like Steam Link, where my computer's playing the game and streaming the data to my phone. I think we're going to see that on phones. Most phones, like I said, have Bluetooth. The PS4 controller and the Xbox One controller are Bluetooth. You're going to hook that up to your phone. It's going to... I think that's what the next thing we're going to see. Or like an iPad or something like that.
Or even instead of streaming to your phone, even if it's like... Maybe the next step between that and getting to that point would be like streaming to like having when you buy a PlayStation 5, it has a dockable component like a screen, like a Switch that you take, and then it just streams from the console.
But that's
to
what I'm saying. I don't know if we're going to see that because that costs Sony a lot of money. Yeah. If they can, and what Soup is saying in chat is that you can do that with cloud gaming, and I'm aware of that. I know you can, but I'm saying you can't do that with every single Sony title. Or every single Xbox One game.
Like the reason the Switch is so amazing is because you can do like no matter what it is on the Switch, you can play it mobile or you can play it docked.
I'm saying I think within the next 5-6 years that every single game you will probably be able to stream to a second device on the go, whatever. I mean, obviously not on like a mobile connection, but if you're on Wi-Fi, I think it's going to be a thing that is physical. Internet streaming is getting faster and faster. Look at something with Google's Project Stream, where literally I played like 5 hours of Assassin's Creed Origins.
Odyssey?
Thank you, Odyssey. I always fucking do that. Odyssey completely from some fucking server somewhere. I think that's going to be one of the next things we see as phones are getting slightly larger, higher quality, faster. I think that's honestly one of the next things.
And the Switch is just kind of like the first baby step towards that, I think. All right, we need to move on. Next question from Mr. Greentos, who we met over the weekend, which is cool, at PAX South. Since the Resident Evil 2 remake is looking to be great, which it totally is looking to be great, I wanted to know what other remakes or HD collections of older games were awesome in your opinion, or which were the worst. For example, I love The Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition since it featured a new graphic art style and remastered score that also let you switch to the classic anytime, along with new voiceover lines since the base game didn't have them, or a hint system. Or for a worse example, I was so disappointed that the Rare Replay was just simple ports of their games except Grabbed by the Ghoulies, which was upscaled to 1080p and 60 frames per second. Nolan looks like he has an answer.
The Ezio trilogy. Oh my god, that game looks so fucking bad.
They had to patch the shit out of that, didn't they?
They just made all the faces fucking like one color and smooth. Like I didn't care that
For
it's
people
fucking...
who aren't familiar, that's the Assassin's Creed trilogy with Ezio.
Correct. They made it like 1080p or whatever and upscaled and all this stuff.
There's that famous image.
It looks the same as like what was it? Not Arkham Origins, but like Arkham City or something when they re-released that.
Oh, and
like everyone looked like they just took a paint dropper tool and fucking filled in and just like it's all one color. There's no texture. There's no shadows. There's like it just looked bad.
And there's also that famous screenshot of the NPC with like the big bug eyes
yes,
in the background.
Exactly.
So you want them to do it again but better?
Don't get me wrong. I wanted to pick that up. The Ezio trilogy is my favorite part of Assassin's Creed, and I wanted to replay those games, and I was going to pick up the Ezio trilogy until I saw that.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit,
probably
this
could.
is
It's probably been patched to the
like
point where it's fine now.
It was both. It was like, which ones are good
I
and
want to
which
give a
ones are bad.
positive answer.
Uh-huh.
The Last of Us Remastered.
Yes.
Because that was kind of like the beginning of the modern photo mode, like all the big photo modes that were on PS4 and Xbox, and those were amazing.
Yep,
that alone made that like...
Is this question of stuff we want to be remade?
No, the question is which ones have been good, which ones have been bad.
But remakes and remasters are very different.
I know, but
if he's bouncing off remake 2, that means more significant.
No, it's either way. It's either way because he dropped an example of a remake.
Tomb Raider Anniversary it's a very different kind of experience, but like it's pretty amazing that they took the original Tomb Raider, which is very old in comparison, and turned it into something more modern with Tomb Raider Anniversary.
That's a good one,
and I thought that was pretty impressive.
It's funny. I was thinking about because like Naughty Dog remastered Last of Us, they also remastered all the Uncharted games, and they look great. And it's funny because I convinced a coworker to play the Uncharted series, and she's playing the Nathan Drake collection. And she's like, "Man, that Uncharted game doesn't look that good." And I was like, listen, bitch, first of all, that game came out in 2007, and secondly, go play it on the PS3 and tell me the Uncharted remake or the Nathan Drake collection looks bad. Go play it on PS3 and tell me it looks bad.
Does those really not hold up well?
No, they're fine.
No, I mean,
but if you're comparing the first Uncharted to like Uncharted 4, it doesn't look that good.
I mean,
yeah. I will say
it's harder to go
a couple examples I will throw out there. One that's fairly recent, that Shadow of the Colossus remake is pretty damn impressive.
Yes.
I'd say that's honestly the best way to play that game.
Yep.
On the other side of that coin, flip side, of course, I couldn't not mention the Silent Hill HD collection is the worst, most like criminal atrocity of oh my god. Like literally one of the worst things that Konami's ever done outside of canceling Silent Hills.
I'd like to mention the Eco collection on PS3.
Yeah.
That's a great way to play Shadow of the Colossus. Maybe the best way. I recommend it.
You think it's better than the remake?
Remake had some issues.
Are you being weird?
No.
It's probably the best way to play Eco. Right?
Definitely the best way to play Eco for sure.
That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
And Shadow.
The Resident Evil 1 remake is also a stellar fucking.
Spyro's pretty nice looking.
Oh yeah, dude, that Spyro remake is fucking great. I'm loving it.
Remake.
And our last question tonight comes from
Tactics
Zero Skies. Zero Skies says, "Have you dropped your New Year's resolution yet? If not, how are you faring and succeeding?"
I didn't because I didn't make one.
I did not make one either. Well, the closest thing I can come up with to a New Year's resolution in 2019, and this is just something I kind of in my head, I'm just kind of like, I would like to play more games that are outside of my comfort zone. I know this is just, I'm keeping it game related, but like I played some really awesome games in 2018 that are games I probably never would have considered playing, and I don't even know why I did. It's probably because I heard you guys talking about some of them, and it's just like that. Those are like the best. Like when you go through a whole year and you're just like, fuck, I played some cool shit, and I don't play those kinds of games. Like I want to do more of that. That's why I want to play Ace Combat 7. I want to play some shit that I just don't usually touch.
You know what, Nick?
Huh?
You can't fail if you don't try.
You're right. You're right. All right. That's it for our questions tonight, guys. Thank you very much for asking all these wonderful questions. If you would like to ask a question on next week's show.
In Discord?
Wait, what?
In our Discord
Oh,
channel?
yeah. I haven't. Let me see.
Sorry, I should have looked at that while you were reading.
That's probably a good question. Although I haven't seen it light up, that channel light up in. Where the fuck is it? Supporters, here we go.
Nope.
No questions from Twitch subscribers. If you are a subscriber on Twitch, reminder, you can ask us questions. Just you got to go over to Discord.
Wait, there is a question from
What?
Kenton. Not trying to sound annoying. Is the podcast getting posted today, or is it?
Oh, shut up. That's not I hate you. I answered that question. Brad's being a bitch. The point is, if you're a supporter on Twitch and you want to ask us questions too, just hop over to the supporters channel in Discord, which is at discord.gg/4player, and throw your question in on the day of the show, which I'll check during the show, and we'll read those out as well. So if you want to support us before next week's show and get a question in, patreon.com/4player is where you'll find it. And now it is time to wrap up the show with the 4-player minute. It's been a while since we. Oh wait! Oh shit! Woo! I was close. Sorry. Pump the brakes for just a second.
Shit,
this is our last. We're doing the supporter spotlight for the month of January.
Yeah,
I forgot. This is our last day or last podcast of the month of January, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Do we?
We
might have one next week.
Yes, there is.
I think there is one next week. Oh, yeah, there's one more in this month.
Okay, well, I'm going to finish reading. I'll announce the new supporter spotlight next week, but we're going to finish reading off this month's, which is our supporter spotlight is Miss Lisbeth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are just coming up on, if I can just find her responses here. Coming up on her 4-player minute. Yes, 4-player minute, which is perfect because we're about to do our own 4-player minute. Hold on 1 second. Here we go.
Former F1.
All right, Miss Lisbeth, you were our supporter spotlight for January. Thank you very much for supporting us. We're going to end this off by reading your personal 4-player minute. Her hype is Cyberpunk 2077, as per usual. Not much else to say there. Cyberpunk 2077. I hope that's probably going to be your hype for quite a while. I don't think the game's coming anytime soon. Sweat would be Legend of Zelda because I have to start would be Legend of Zelda because I have to start all over again because I just got it back and didn't have cloud backups. I'm guessing she's talking about Breath of the Wild on the Switch.
Ooh, that's a tough one to start over.
Yeah, that is a rough one.
That one's hard to replay.
I've thought about starting it over because...
Yeah, but see, that's the kind of game where you're like, oh, Breath of the Wild, and then you play for like 6 hours, and you're like, that was great. All right, back to regular games.
Yeah.
It's not replay friendly, I don't think.
At least not like so close to its original release. Like maybe in 5 years I'll go back and play it again because I just want to experience it again.
How about they make a new one?
Or that. Or maybe I'll replay it when we're anticipating the next one. How's that? Thank you to all of you for keeping the podcast going for so long, since I was in middle school even.
Wow.
Oh my god. I'm getting old.
Middle school. You shouldn't have been watching us.
Not with
Where were your parents?
oh my god.
Is anybody here right now in middle school?
Oh god.
Let's see all the middle schoolers in chat.
Better question.
Who are up late on a school night?
Is anyone who's watching or listening have someone in middle school, like a kid?
Oh god.
That's a better question.
My fuck you. Okay. Miss Elizabeth, fuck you goes to Crispy.
Nice.
Because he's wait. Because he's insane. Don't eat human flesh, you nutter.
I haven't. Nor do I plan on it.
But you seem to argue in favor of it quite a bit.
But if you're gonna ask me to die instead of eating dead human flesh, I'm sorry.
I'm eating that human flesh.
Sorry I didn't get you any human
on
flesh
his birthday.
for your birthday.
That is so funny. We've timed this perfectly so that her fuck you of the week or of the month goes to Crispy on his birthday.
The day of my birth.
Feel terrible, Miss Elizabeth. Terrible.
There's only 13 minutes left.
Anyways, Miss Elizabeth, thank you very much for all of your responses to all the questions we asked you and that we've been reading throughout the month of January. Next week, I will announce our supporter spotlight for the month of February, and we'll send him or her a list of questions that they'll answer, and we'll read those throughout the month of February. So now we're going to do our own personal 4-player minutes. It's been a while since we've done one of these. Brad?
Yeah.
Care to start us off?
Sure. My hype is going to go for Crosscode. I played a lot more Crosscode, and I am as excited about the game now as I was when I first started. I'm adoring that game. It's so great. I can't wait to play more. You should all play it. Like, I mean it. It's really, really great.
It's a pretty good game. Brad, you're very quiet.
Yeah. My sweat is going to go for Subnautica because I'm at this point in Subnautica where I have to, like, find alien bases and get keys, and I'm kind of at the end game, and I need to be building my rocket, and I already kind of started, and like that really satisfying addictive loop is kind of gone because I've built everything I needed to build. Really, I just have to explore the world and kind of figure out what I'm supposed to do towards the end, and I'm kind of like halfway between looking things up, and I don't really want to, but I feel like I kind of need to, but I kind of just want to get there because, you know, like Nick said, that liftoff moment's supposed to be pretty cool.
It's so dope.
Yeah. My fuck you for this week is gonna go to Capcom. I'm gonna give it to them specifically because I think the way they handled the re-release of Onimusha on PS4 was really, I don't want to say lazy, but a little bit of a missed opportunity. First of all, it's just called Onimusha Warlords, which is what the game was called when it was released on PS2. They didn't even bother calling it like Onimusha HD.
They didn't even give it new box art. Like it just looks like the PS2 version.
And to release it so close to the release of Resident Evil 2, which is obviously what a lot of your Capcom fans are going to be spending their money on, it just sort of like slipped under the radar, very uneventful. And you know they're going to be looking at the sales of this anytime they want to make a decision about the future of Onimusha. They might already be planning to look at the sales of it. when really they could have just released, Onimusha 1, 2, and 3 and like a big HD trilogy collection, maybe even throw fucking Dawn of Dreams in there. You put out like a product like that, and I think that's the kind of thing that maybe people would really get behind. But this is like random and like, it seems kind of lazy. Fuck off, man. Like, Onimusha doesn't even have a chance now. Yeah, I know you're making a face. You don't like Dawn of Dreams, but the point is it's value. It's like the only video game Nick's ever not liked.
Oh, fuck off.
But like, he so passionately hates it. It's weird.
Oh, yeah.
What else is something you passionately hate? Go, quick. Nothing. It's nothing.
Rogue Legacy.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shots fired.
Dusk and Into the Breach.
All right, I don't hate Dusk.
my
Or Into the Breach. Fuck off.
FTL.
And finally, my thank you for this week is, of course, going to Chris Davis, who's working really hard on putting all these videos together. He hasn't touched Ace Combat yet. That's like, what is that called when you don't touch your dick or something?
Blue balls?
Abstinence.
Abstinence.
I don't know.
You're a woman.
He's chaste.
Delayed pleasure. He's definitely.
Oh, wait. Edging?
We're all very into delayed.
That'd be like
pleasure.
if he was touching the Ace Combat box.
He might be.
Like
And then
just
stop
stroking
it right
it.
before the
Yeah.
point.
Maybe he slides the disc into his Xbox, but then ejects it real quick.
before it installs.
Anyway.
All right, my 4-player minute starts now. My hype is for Dicey Dungeons. I was really excited with what I played of that game at PAX. I'm really excited to play some more of it. A lot of fun. My sweat is going to go to Y2K. I don't know if that game is amazing or horrible. I walked up to the developers after I played it, and I said to them, every time I see this game or play it or think about it or see a trailer for it, I less understand what the fuck it is. I told that to their faces. I was like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm very worried about that game. Not because I think it's bad. It's just when I first saw it, I thought it was amazing. And now I don't know. My thank you goes to the community. Everyone who showed up and hung out with us at PAX South. It was a lot of fun. Glad I got to see some of you again. Meet some of you for the first time. It was a delightful PAX. I'm glad I ended up going. And then my fuck you goes to Andrew Shoulder Ice.
Fuck you, Andrew Shouldice.
Shoulder Ice.
Yeah.
He knows.
I'm talking to Nick and he's ignoring me.
Wait, what?
Andrew Shouldice. Shouldis.
Who is this?
The developer of Tunic.
Oh,
Fuck you, developer of Tunic.
I don't know. I don't remember. It's one dude.
So, yeah, he's developing the game by himself. When we talked to Finji, who's publishing the game at PAX South, they're like, yeah, it's coming out in 2020.
What?
Like, yes.
Yeah, it's not this year.
Fuck you, because he wants to work on the game by himself. It's been in development for 4 years. He's going to take him a whole nother year to fucking finish it.
He doesn't want anybody touching his baby.
And
He's
it's like,
bandersnatching.
exactly. It's like, come on, dude. We've been waiting for this game for so fucking long. Just let someone else give you a little bit of help to get it out sooner. You'll feel better because your game will be done.
He's gonna murder his father. Oh, shut up.
So yeah. So fuck you. I want to play your fucking game. Let me play it.
Let me
Alright,
play
that's
your
it.
beautiful
you
game.
did play it this past weekend.
Oh yeah, I know. Let me play the whole
crispy.
game.
Okay, my hype this week is for Anthem.
Oh, of course.
Because it's coming up and it looks cool. And the more I think about it, the more like I'm thinking about like fucking Iron Man and War Machine and just like, man, it'd be really cool to have a game where like having a flying mech suit is a big part of it. And the like the big mechs, I don't even know what they're fucking called. They're probably called Titans because of course they would be. But the big ones that like look real fucking blocky and have like guns hanging off of them and shit. Like
That is a game too that I would love.
Buster.
That is a game too that I'm
cool.
getting more and more excited about maybe trying because it's kind of outside of my comfort
They
zone.
look so fucking cool.
You know, in preparation to warm up for Anthem, you should stream some of the Iron Man games from the PS2 era.
From the like the Xbox 360 Iron Man game.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Iron Man 2. Yeah. That'd be dope. Stream it. Do it. You love comic books. You love Anthem. You love robot suits. Just do it.
All of those things are true. Crispy does like those things.
That is true,
Do
but
it.
I don't see how it it adds up to me enjoying that stream. But
It doesn't have to. What matters is we
Maybe
enjoy
it will
watching
make
it.
you like Anthem more.
we'll talk.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right. Oh my god, this is how you do it. My sweat is for end of the year videos because I have an idea.
That's
I feel
it?
like you
But,
said this
like,
like
just
2
have an
weeks
idea.
ago.
I have this idea, man. I
Oh,
have this
Lord.
thing, and it's fucking golden.
Is it now?
Will your video
I
be
don't
out
know.
before
Like,
the Oscars
I think
in
I
the
don't-
end of February?
No, maybe not. My video did also snub the oh god.
Words, crispy
I
words.
forgot the name of the movie. Oh no, my joke. Anyway, what was the movie that got snubbed?
I mean,
La
a
La
lot of
Land.
movies.
No, I know. But you know the one I'm talking
Moonlight.
about.
Stars
The one
Born?
about the telemarketer.
Sorry to bother you?
Sorry to
bother?
bother you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so did a lot of movies.
A lot of people were making a big deal about that one. Sorry.
My coworker has been neighing a lot lately.
Neighing?
Yeah,
Or like negging?
neighing, like a horse neighs.
Coworker's been negging you a lot lately. Yeah, this is a nice shirt. It'd look better if you lost 5 pounds. Like,
Oh my god. Anyways,
hype sweat my fuck you, which I oh my god, I just had it. It was fuck you to you know what, Randy Pitchford.
Oh,
For just being like,
for being Randy Pitchford.
yeah, even if I don't know, like, fuck you, dude. Like, I don't know, just what a weird creep. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
And my thank you goes to all of you in the community who wished me
Oh.
a happy 31st birthday. Thank you so much.
You're very
I
welcome.
feel very loved. I
should.
really feel the community. And thank you.
well, good, because we got together and we bought you this Xbox.
Oh no, I hate those.
I'm just kidding, we didn't. All right, thank you, Crispy. My first hype this week is, of course, Resident Evil 2 Remake getting stellar fucking
Sounds about
reviews.
right.
Everything I've been reading and hearing about it seems awesome. I'm going to be doing my stream on Thursday night. I'm very, 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 very much looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to unboxing that big, stupid collector's edition. It's going to be stupid fun. And then I'm looking forward to playing the game on Thursday night and all day on Friday. So I hope you guys will join me for that. I'm very, very much looking forward to playing this game. We'll be talking about it on next week's podcast. Brad, are you going to be playing it?
Well, yeah. No, I'm on the fence about it.
No, I didn't know.
Are you game?
I'm not
saying
one of
bef-
these big Resident Evil fans
I'm
like
just-
you.
no, I mean
Have
before
you
the
ever
show.
played a
is
Resident
what
Evil
I'm
game,
saying.
A couple.
I hate you guys. Let's see. My thank you goes to Nolan for playing through Resident Evil 5 with me. Not only not even the main campaign, not just the main campaign, but he played through both
He
DLCs
even played
for
the
me.
game.
He thank you. I hope you continue to be a good friend and play Resident Evil 6 with me in the not too distant future. My second hype
Gonna do that.
goes to Resident Evil Revelations 2 because I've been thinking about it since I played it the other night. I'm very much looking forward to playing more of this game. I hope it doesn't just like shit the bed at some point in it, but I don't think it's going to. I'm pretty excited to
not
play
in the
more.
same way that, not in the ways you hate Resident
Are there any
Evil.
volcanoes?
How many boulders do you punch?
There are. I think there.
I will never get over the fact that that's like,
I'm just
you won't follow Resident Evil there.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, I've had this conversation with him. We both had this conversation with him.
I will say that scene's pretty silly.
I mean, they're in an active volcano
gonna
and
get
they're
Ace
not
Combat.
melting.
dude,
He's gonna play Ace Combat. He's not even gonna fly near any volcanoes. That's how much he hates
they
them.
crash a jet into a volcano, not like near one, literally into the lava, hop out, run a few feet, punch a boulder.
yeah.
By the
And
way,
then they,
that punching of the boulder is not like him like one punch like knocking
No,
it.
he's
He's
working
like
it, man.
wailing on it.
He's like he's
working
fucking
it.
training for the big match, and he's just
Yeah.
like just giving it some fucking undercuts and stuff like
Definitely
that. Fucking uppercutting
breaking
the boulder.
both of his hands in the
Oh
process.
yeah, both his hands are shattered, every single
But
bone.
the important thing is he moves the boulder.
That's what a fucking hero does.
The funny thing is when he finally gets it, it moves and it kind of slides down a hill, and it's like, why didn't he just like push it?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But
Gotta loosen it up.
you know
baby.
what? That game is still dope as hell.
work the boulder.
Yeah.
And my sweat, there's been a lot of really awesome like movie news this week. Whether it's the Ghostbusters thing or the Spider-Man trailer or the John Wick trailer, All of which
I
I'm
thought
very
Nick was going to say Mission Impossible.
all of which I'm very excited about. My sweat is Mission Impossible. They announced 2 movies being filmed back to back, and I read today, I didn't realize, Tom Cruise is celebrating his 60th birthday.
Yeah.
Soon.
Dude, I already talked with Nick about this when we were at PAX. I think the next one, Tom Cruise is going to be kind of actioning it around, but I think the one after that, he's going to be like leading the IMF.
Dude,
and
maybe,
like not actually doing any action.
Maybe, but you know what? Like, this also feels like very much almost like maybe I hope he's like looking at this as like maybe his last hurrah, because like they're doing 2 movies
Last hurrah.
back to back.
Before he goes and joins up with Xenu or
No,
whatever?
I mean before he's like, all right, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm not doing any more of these movies because I'm going to kill myself.
The only way for Tom Cruise to leave this world would be in a tragic
in a stunt gone wrong?
stunt accident on set.
Right.
You know what? That would probably
Like a helicopter accidentally flew up his butt.
But like he knows it's happening, like he's hanging from a cliff, and he's just like,
This is it.
Just get the shot.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go.
Oh man!
Promise me you'll use this.
I was so in love with that movie that like I'm so hyped that that he's doing 2 more movies. But like at the same time, I'm like, dude, come on, you're about to turn. There's no like, how do you top that last movie when you're coming up on 60?
Is the new 38, man.
Only
Okay.
you know how you top it, Nick?
Only for some people, Brad.
For Tom Cruise, stilts.
Nah.
There we go.
Even
there it is.
Even
There's
platform shoes would help.
Anyways,
You know, you just get shorter
Do you know
as you
how
get
many
older, right?
apple boxes that guy stands on unsettled?
yeah, no, I get it.
The set never
man.
doesn't have apples.
Did you ever
to
watch
eat.
that movie, Crispy?
Which one?
Mission Impossible Fallout.
I honestly don't know. I've seen like 3 Mission Impossibles,
It's
and I don't know which one
It's
they
the
are.
one with Superman.
The mustache man. Come on.
No, maybe not.
mustache.
No,
What are
I
you
think
talking? The
last one
only
I
Mission
saw-
Impossible movie that came out in the last year.
The last one I saw, Tom Cruise was hanging onto the side of a plane, and the soundtrack was going bap 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 bap.
Yes!
All right, you got to narrow it down a little more.
And you know what? There is
that was
nothing
2
wrong with
movies
that.
ago.
No, it's fine.
That
It's
was
fine.
not Ghost
And
Protocol.
Ving Rhames is just
That was
like
Rogue
Nation.
Big Rams, man.
Yeah.
You know what?
Dude,
He's crazy.
Dude, if you look at the more recent ones, Vin Rhames he's not ever not like sitting down or like
I'm sure it's in his contract. At this
dude,
point.
like he's often either sitting down or standing still.
I am
and
not
that's
paid
like
to stand.
all Vin Rhames
I am paid
do.
to be in this movie.
Yeah.
Nowhere in my contract doesn't say I have to stand, and I get to choose the hat I wear. Damn it!
He always wears a hat.
He clearly is not there to do any kind of
Yeah.
action whatsoever.
Yeah.
Anyways, the point is, I adore those movies, and I'm genuinely worried about how they're going to pull off doing 2 more movies in the next 2 years. I don't.
got this. Hacking in some van. That's all he does.
Dude, how does his fingers are so big? How does he fucking like
Tom Cruise would never succeed
special keyboard.
if it wasn't for his.
Could you
friends.
imagine? He has like a keyboard that's like this big. It's like giant.
I like how Mission Impossible is all about friendship.
Yeah. It is. It honestly is. After the first one not as much, but then like everyone
Friendship
afterwards
can save the world. That's your weakness, Tom Cruise. That's what every villain says.
Yeah.
Friendship.
Yeah.
That's
all
not
like,
what
no.
they
Love
say.
your friends
but
too much.
Can we move on?
Sorry.
Yeah, we can.
We can
Remember that
talk.
one
We can
lady's
talk about this
brain
after we.
We're being a little short-sighted. Let's move
We can
on.
talk about this after. God damn it, Nolan. We can talk about this after we cut the recording. Anyways, that's it for our show tonight, guys. Oh my god, you guys
Nick's
are the
gonna
worst.
John Wick us all.
We're just gonna cruise
Dude,
on
I
out
cannot
of here.
fucking wait for that movie.
Mission
Holy
Impossible. Friendship is magic.
shit. Oh my god, just my luck. They're gonna name the next movie Mission Impossible Friendship, and I'm never gonna live it down.
Oh my god.
Turns out the mission was being friends the whole time.
Yes, Slade, your answer in John Voight was the villain in the first Mission Impossible
Yes,
movie.
he was.
Anyways,
We're not just
thank
an
you for
impossible
listening.
mission
Everybody shut up.
force.
Everybody just shut your mouth. Shut your mouths for a second. Thank you guys for listening to 4Player Podcast. Join us again next Tuesday. Don't forget, this is your daily reminder that for the next 3 weeks, podcasts are on Tuesday nights, not Thursdays. So join us next Tuesday night for our next podcast. We'll be talking about a lot more video games, including that cool Resident Evil 2 remake, among other things. So we'll see you then. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.